What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the reunion of Final Fantasy VII Remake podcast. I am your host, Kai, and joining me again, forever and always, my co-host, Vyzz. How are you doing, Vyzz?
Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year! It's been a while again, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm doing good, thanks. I'm freshed up and good to go. How about you?
I'm doing good. We took a little bit of a break with the winter holiday, obviously, and it was great, visiting. My family came for a short visit, so that was nice to kind of get together and spend time with them because I hadn't seen them in such a long time. And then, to take that time as well and catch up on my hard mode playthrough of Intergrade, which I'll be talking a little bit about later in the episode. And I did buy some new games as well. I got Ratchet and Clank, which I'm super stoked about. And what else did I get? Oh, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. So I'm super excited to, continue playing that game. I just started it and it's a little daunting to get into like another whole narrative game right away after beating Intergrade. So I'm like, I'm going to take a break, play something more mindless like Overwatch or something, and then I'll go back to it. So
sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, guys. So the best way to support us here is to like, sub, and share the podcast. Hop on over to our YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet. You can subscribe to us also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts, because we're pretty much everywhere. All right, guys. So today we are so excited because we have an extremely special guest here with us. For today's episode, we have This Dad's Platinum Journey here with us today. Welcome.
Hey guys, hi everybody listening, and I'm doing pretty good today too, and thank you so much for having me on the show today. I'm very excited to talk some trophies with you guys.
Yeah. We're super excited that you could be here with us today for today's episode.
It's my pleasure.
All right, so we'll be talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake's PC release. Final Fantasy XVI has been delayed. There's a rumor also that Sony has more Square Enix exclusives going forward, and Square Enix's CEO announced NFT and blockchaining in games. Oh my gosh, so we're going to touch on that a little bit. And then the second part of the episode, This Dad's Platinum Journey, will share his history with gaming, how Final Fantasy VII changed his life, and we'll all discuss our experience with trophies, how they might affect how we play games. For example, the path that we all must take to get that coveted platinum in 7 Remake, send help, SOS, and also giving our ideas for expected trophies in the subsequent parts of Final Fantasy VII Remake. But before we begin all of that, This Dad's Platinum Journey, why don't you let our listeners know who you are and what you do?
Sure, love to. So I'm a content creator, a streamer, and of course a father of 2 wonderful daughters. So my content is sort of varied. I do sort of specialize really in sort of varied content, but my home is really Final Fantasy. It's my favorite franchise of all time. But if you do want to catch me and join up on some of my other games that I'm playing, I'm currently streaming Ghost of Tsushima, which I know that you're just getting yourself into, Kai. I'm actually nearly finishing that game. I've got probably a week or two, and I will be hitting the platinum, which is my plan. I will be tackling Horizon Forbidden West. That's going to be my next game.
Yeah,
we're going to start streaming that, so I'm quite excited to get to that. I might have a couple of weeks in between where I might play something like Kano or something like that. Might get a playthrough in, so that's going to be very exciting. Because I too got lots of games over Christmas, so I've been I know we've been talking, Kai, about it as well, because we've been playing Ratchet, so you've been playing at the same time as me. But I do upload some playthroughs. I've got a bunch of playthroughs up on the channel. I will upload my Ratchet, but my sort of like my pride and joy of the channel is my platinum journeys. I love to kind of take you guys through my story, through my journey, from tackling the game as it begins, going through, tackling all the trophies, and making sure that I get that coveted platinum trophy. So I've got quite a few games up on the channel. Resident Evil 3, God of War, Marvel's Avengers, Tekken 7, Mafia, and of course, I've got Final Fantasy 7. It is the original games. I haven't got the remake just yet, because I'll go back into what happened before, but the remake was on PS4. I've only been doing this very recently. but I will be
Mhm.
doing Integrate, and that is penciled in as my 50th platinum. That is my milestone platinum that I want to get. So yeah, I'll be adding that, and I'm also awesome on Twitter as well. So go follow me on Twitter. I'm really awesome on there. So come and chat to me, talk to me about games and platinums on there.
Quick question: how much do you know about Remake, and what should we not spoil?
I know everything about Remake because I platinumed the PS4 version. So
Oh, you did.
I'm
Okay,
fine.
okay. My bad.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Thank you.
We'll obviously talk about my journey because that is
Yes.
where we kind of talk about how it changed and why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But yeah, Remake spoilers is all good, man. You can
Good.
go into it and
Just want to
talk
make
me.
sure.
Oh yeah, please talk to me about this game because this game is absolutely, it's just so special to me. It really is, and we'll talk more about it a little bit later. And I'm
Yes.
very excited. I'm itching at the bit to talk about Remake. Don't worry.
All right, guys. So we're going to just dive into this right now, the news section for today. So Final Fantasy VII Remake for PC is out. So I just want to kind of get everybody's thoughts about it. I'll just go through mine first. So I did get it, and I only played a few minutes of it because I was almost finished my hard playthrough on PS5 when this got announced, which I did, like I said earlier, I finally finished it. And I just finished episode intermission on hard as well on Friday. And to me, it was just like a lot to kind of go through because I never skipped anything, right? Like I went right back to chapter 1 in Integrate and replayed it without skipping any of the cutscenes. I did use chapter select just to go through because I missed a few things. So I had to replay some of the chapters, even after I had already replayed it on hard from like chapter 1. But I felt like just to kind of dive back into it again that soon after it came out for PC was a lot. So I downloaded it. I started it up on my computer and it seemed to run pretty well. I think most of the issues that people have been talking about have been with new PC builds for some reason. Anyway, but I haven't really had a problem performance wise with my computer as of now. But yeah, did you guys end up picking it up for PC? Vyzz, did you get it?
So far, no, because I'm usually not a PC gamer. The only, or basically the first game in years or even decade, I don't know, I haven't counted, is Trails in the Sky, which is only
Oh, right.
out on PC right now. So I played the first
Mhm.
3 games, Trails in the Sky, first chapter, second chapter, and third on a PC, and works well with PS5 controller, so that's good.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'm basically just a PlayStation peasant and only play there, and it provides enough entertainment and games that I don't
Yeah.
need anything else for
Mhm.
that. And I'm very comfortable playing Integrate and Intermission on PS5. Works
Yeah.
well, so I don't really need more because I've seen that it doesn't really look that much better. Maybe
Mhm.
true 4K and more high frame rate, like 90 or
Yeah.
20. But just getting it for PC and having to play through it again, maybe no.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure I'll be playing through it again just before part 2 comes out. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll do it on PC. It all
Mm.
depends on how well my graphics card will fare, if I need a
Yeah.
new one or not, because if it's not better than my PS5 version, I just play the PS5 version. So that's my thoughts on that. Also, the latest update, which was like last
Mhm.
week or that week before, I don't remember, fixed a lot of performance issues I
Yeah, I
hear.
heard that.
Like the newer graphics card, especially the 30 Series 30 for the GeForce NVIDIA graphics
Yeah,
cards.
the RTX
Yeah, exact
3080, I
3080,
think.
3060, whatever. Had the most problems because I don't think they could players could switch to DXL11 for some reason. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that because that was a fix for older graphics cards, 20 and below. They
Oh,
could
right.
switch back to DX11 or DirectX 11, and I
Yeah.
heard about enabling VSync, and then it was pretty smooth. That's at least one fix that Digital Foundry suggested.
Mhm.
But now it's all fixed, and it's one interesting detail that I noticed in Blitz's video who also talked about it, was that it apparently only used 1 out of 8 cores of the RTX 30 whatever, because it got stuck at 17%. Like it never used
like GPU
more.
performance
Yeah,
or whatever, like power.
yeah, exactly. The performance, the GPU was never had workload over 17%, which is basically an eighth, or is it a sixth? Hang on, is my math wrong? Oh, it's a sixth. Sixth, sorry. It's a
You're
six.
the
It's
math
apparently a
guru. I
6
have no
core.
idea.
Yeah, now it's a 6 core because 16.7 is also like when you divide a clock into 10 minute chunks, it's a sixth of it, and this is just
Right.
0.16667 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least from my memory. I hate doing math right just right
On the fly.
right from the get-go. I hate it, but I hope I'm doing this right now. Anyway, it appears that they only used 1 core out of those 6, and also just a part of the memory, because memory was also never like used fully. So that they for some reason weren't able to use the graphic card's full capacity, or didn't. Just made some mistakes. I have no idea how this is even possible, unless you don't know what you're doing, but apparently it happens. They probably didn't use like multi-threading or something, which is probably what happened. But nowadays it should be the standard, because all CPUs and GPUs usually have more than 1 core. Maybe the older GPUs don't. I don't quite remember. I'm not that much of a PC geek, so please don't at me. But yeah, that's what I've heard from some sources. I'm not really like reading the news every day. It's just stuff I hear on our Discord server and some people's videos I subscribe to. That's about it.
Some people were disappointed with the lack of graphical fidelity like options, I guess, in the menu.
Oh yeah, that's
it
true.
Seems like a very bare bones PC port. Little effort went into it. Apparently, that's what people have been saying online, and people are very disappointed.
Yeah.
I think they were also comparing it to the Final Fantasy 15 PC release, which actually ran quite well and didn't have that many issues, and also provided us with more options for changing graphical fidelity. And just I think that people were disappointed. And then on top of that, they were asking full price for this game, and I think it was $10 more than what PC games usually cost when they release on Steam. But obviously this came out for Epic Games Store, and they did have a holiday coupon that I used, which was $14 Canadian, because I'm in Canada, so that's how much I think they converted it to Canadian from $10 US or whatever. So they gave me like an extra $4. So I think it came to $65, or 70 or something like that. So I'm okay with that. So I didn't mind like paying that, but that meant that like I had to use a coupon for that game. Like I couldn't use it for something else because
I see. Yeah.
I felt like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I spend? Because for us, games are like $89.99 plus taxes. So it's almost about $100 for a game, right? So if I'm going to spend that money, I probably will want to spend it on something that like I've never played before. You know what I mean?
That's fair, yeah.
But yeah, so I think people were overly disappointed. But I've read that this version is basically the PS5 version.
Yes.
Like you're not getting anything more than that. You're just getting more frames, and a higher refresh rate, right?
Basically, yeah.
And 4K.
Yeah, native 4K.
And not checkerboard 4K. Yeah, it's like native 4K, exactly. But, a plus is the mod community, that have already been pumping out mods for this. Shout out to Baby Seal for your Ronald McDonald Sephi mod, which is absolutely ridiculous.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's just popping off right now. It's just popping off. And also Final Fan TV, shout out as well. They went and did like a shot by shot kind of comparison from Remake and the OG, where it's like a fixed camera angle. So it's just like recreating those camera angles from the original, but it's in Remake. And it was quite surprising because a lot of the stuff, like I think the work that they put into really replicating the original details of the environment, playing it third person and having the camera like behind cloud, I think you miss a lot of it, you know?
It's
And
fair, yeah. That's
I
Mm.
true.
think that having the camera there, you could see like really shot by shot, like how much work went into it and really appreciate it. And I was like, wow, they did a really good job actually of, making it seem as authentic as possible to the original, I think. So,
Mm.
but yeah. And I've seen some other crazy stuff too for mods, but for mods for me, like I have downloaded a few mods just for the original Final Fantasy VII, and that's pretty much it for my mod experience. I'm not big into mods, but I can obviously, appreciate people being into mods, and mod creation is just huge, right? And it's a way for people to kind of express themselves artistically and also change things in the game that they might want to see, or change gameplay elements, or just add story elements. I think it's amazing and incredible. So I think that we're going to continue to see more mod creation and changes to the game via mods in the future.
Let's hope so, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this Dad's Platinum Journey, what do you think? What do you think PC version of Remake?
I've looked the same videos as you, Viz, actually, because I'm sort of making some sort of similar observations. Because I'm not a PC gamer either.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last PC game I probably played was the original Metal Gear Solid. It's going to go back a little while now, isn't it? I reckon I had that playing on PC back in the day. But I've been intrigued by the PC release, because it's one of those things where like you kind of get to see almost like its definitive version. Really, you get to see it
Yeah.
as a higher quality product in terms of its its sort of standard gets risen up. But when I looked at Digital Foundry, they were comparing it to the PS5, and like you say, Viz, it was almost exactly identical to what we were experiencing already, and it wasn't really putting too much in. And I think again from Blitz's video, when they did the patch, was it 1.001, whatever it was, they
Mm-hmm.
updated the game. It then utilized the full graphics card, and then boom, like you could almost, it was amazing, because I watched the video and I was like, this thing is clipping all over the place, and it's just
Yeah.
Cloud running around and things like that, and I was like, this is just not great. But I'm glad that they were able to kind of fix it, and pretty quickly as well. Like they've got the patch up in 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, yeah.
from being released. So at least they were able to like fix that issue, because it makes the game slightly unplayable. But I'm really looking forward to some of the mod stuff, because I think, like you
Mm-hmm.
say, the settings again from Digital Foundry were like, there's not much here, and like Final Fantasy 15, it did a really good job of making that community able to customize their experience how they wanted to do it
Mm-hmm.
based on their sort of specs and things. So it'd be interesting to see what the mod community come up with, and I know they can come up with all sorts of great stuff. And it was exciting to see the like the OG like fixed cameras, like you say. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice to sort of see some of the angles and things like that, and it'd be good to see some other locations like coming up through that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do some Shinra headquarters or something like that. Might be really interesting to have a look at. But yeah, I also saw, I don't know if you saw the was it Tifa's Advent Children outfit? I thought that was pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. That might be something to definitely have a look at. I don't know if Cloud's got one or if he's seen other Advent Children outfits, but I think that's a cool sort of mod that I've seen when it comes to some of the outfits that have come up on there.
Yeah, the outfits are really good. Not all of them. Some
Mm-hmm.
recolors are really great. And also, one of my favorites is Aerith's metal outfit, like
Yeah, that was
Metallica
cool.
metal outfit. This fits pretty well, actually. It's well made. Yeah, it's really cool. But also their Corneo outfits, recolored, sometimes look really good, like the Golden Tifa or like green Aerith and all that. It's some really good artists out there. Even if it's
Oh,
just
some
a little
incredible work.
thing, yeah, just a little thing, but it's still it's cool on the ice. Just
Mm-hmm.
in our Cosmo Canyon Observatory community on Discord, they just regularly post images and screenshots, or even clips from other people on Twitter, and it's cool to see day by day new designs, new recolors and all the clips. It's nice because I myself, I'm not into modding. I like watching others play mods or
Yes,
just
same.
look at clips of mods just to see what other people do, what I have come up with. For example, the new threat mod of original Final Fantasy VII is
Yes.
crazy.
Oh, I watched a
So
really
good.
good playthrough of that. It was really nice.
Yeah, I watched Max Dude's playthrough and see his
Oh,
is pretty
I've
cool.
seen some of that. I was watching FFVIIR as well, like play
Oh,
through
yeah.
some of his stuff. Like he's got
Right,
good
he did that
like
as well, yeah.
mod stuff as well. What else was I gonna say? Like also with modding, like if they do like a randomizer or something like that,
Yes.
where they mix sort of items up, or they mix up some material and put things in different places. That would be something that would be quite interesting to sort of watch, like people go through.
Yeah, 4.8 Productions just keeps doing such randomized challenges and stuff. Those are pretty funny. Sometimes it just doesn't work, but it's still fun to see.
Wait to see what the speedrunner community do with the PC port as well, because they tend to like speedrunning on PC ports because they just run, like you say, run faster. So they've got a high frame rate. They can just poof.
Yeah,
We'll be able to see some fast times coming up on there, I'm sure.
Turbo mode.
Exactly. Just cloud super run speed, like, let's get that on there.
Yeah, I just read an article this morning. I think there's a mod that was just released, and it creates the battle system it makes it very similar to the original.
Oh, I saw that too.
Where
it
kind of forces it to be turn-based, I think. But I couldn't find a video.
Is it like an FF13 where it kind of sort of transitions into a battle scene and they're not moving, but they're kind of moving, and then you kind of
I think so.
Yeah.
The one I saw is it's basically the same, but ATB only rises when you just wait. When you block, it doesn't rise. When you attack, it doesn't do anything. ATB, so you just have to wait.
Okay.
It's like basically like the original, but you can still run around and slash
things.
things.
You can still
run. They renamed materia to the old ones, like Fire 1 and the old materia instead of Magnify and
Restore.
And
Bolt.
I think some other balancing changes have been made, but I don't remember everything. But some things sounded cool, others less so. I'm not sure if it really works with the base system, just like changed up a bit.
Right.
Maybe it's fun for maybe chapter 1 and 2, and then it gets tedious. I don't know. Haven't looked that much into it.
Yeah, I thought it was like it forced you to kind of stay still, like in the original, and then you just kind of jump in and attack and then jump back. That's what I thought, but I didn't watch a video, so I have no idea. I just read about it and was like, oh, that sounds cool.
If you switch to classic mode, then maybe, because then you just have to wait until ATB is up and then just execute an ability or limit break.
I've not actually done the classic mode.
You haven't?
Same.
No, I've not actually touched it. Even with the integrate version with the normal settings.
Yeah.
Same, yeah.
Might be something to jump into.
Yeah, same here. I did try it out a little bit in the first Mako reactor, but then Cloud just started running around instead of actually hitting things and blocking all the time. I thought, no, this is boring. I want to get into the action myself.
Yeah, I think it's a nice way for accessibility options, though.
Oh, for sure.
Like if you weren't,
absolutely,
if you just wanted to if you were able to just obviously select commands, it's a nice way to play it.
Fair enough.
All right, so moving on here, Final Fantasy 16 unfortunately has been delayed by 6 months due to COVID. So it's very sad to hear that. Naoki Yoshida made an announcement about the delay on the Square Enix Twitter account. I'm not surprised. Honestly, people were still holding out hope that we were going to get a glimpse of this game, I think because they had said that we were going to see it at some point before the end of 2021. But obviously he made the statement on Twitter saying it was delayed by 6 months due to COVID. So it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that he was kind of upfront about it and just came out and said, hey, look, like, it's delayed, but also said 6 months, because sometimes, developers won't tell you the time frame that it's been delayed. It's just, oh, okay, it's been delayed. Okay. And then we're still kind of, holding on hope and waiting. And, I appreciate that. I'm not surprised, but I'm okay with it. And you know what? Take as much time as you need and make sure that it's as, good as possible. and I just can't wait for it to come out so that I can play it. I want to see it because I want to see more of it. I want to see more of the world, the characters, the story, because there's so much that we don't know that they haven't showed us yet. But I'm able to wait. I'm one of those people. I'm okay with waiting. Especially to growing up with Blizzard games. You learn to wait.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But yeah. So what do you think, Vyzz?
Yeah, I almost saw it coming because he once said that he isn't sure if they're able to show it on Tokyo Game Show. And then I thought, yeah, probably not, because they need a little bit more time. Then I held hope a little bit for the Game Awards, and I thought, no, probably not, because didn't hear anything, and it kind of felt a little bit weird, and thought, well, it's gonna be delayed. And then this news came out, and I have high appreciation for Yoshida, because he's just upfront. He doesn't seem to care what the company actually wants. He wants to provide a good service, a good experience, good games and stuff, and it worked for him because he saved Final Fantasy XIV, kept churning out good content with his team, and I think he also has the possibilities and the freedom to just be himself and do what he wants. I think what's the Final Fantasy 15 guy called again? I forget his name.
Tabata?
Yeah, exactly. He was also very transparent, sometimes a little bit too transparent, a little in a weird way. But he was also one who basically was able to save and then just put out a game that was in limbo for a long time for many reasons.
Yes.
So those people seem to have a little bit higher
like expectations.
Yeah, but also the company give them a little bit more leeway, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's just my personal feeling. I don't have anything to back that up, but it's how it seems like. Nomura as well just keeps sometimes a little bit too late, but he does release a lot of games, like all of those Kingdom Hearts games, Final Fantasy games he's involved in, and it's all usually received well, reviewed well, even if there are some haters around in the fandom. It always happens, but still, those guys just put everything in their games and what they do, seems like, and it's really refreshing to have read his sincere apology, which also had a little bit of hope in it. Because what I found interesting, that they only talked about, we have to up the quality and the cutscenes and all those things. It sounds like they only need to fine-tune everything that's already there. They don't need to finish some side quests or other optional things, or finish the last boss or something like that, or something else that they need to finish. Everything is there. They just need to fine-tune and make sure that everything works bug-free, and this also takes months. And yeah, I'm holding out hope for a late summer release, because he said once that the next time they show it, it will be in our hands in a few weeks, like almost immediately afterwards. And they planned to show something towards the end of 2021 already, but it didn't happen because of this delay, as we now learned. And in 6 months, it's summer. So when they show it around in midsummer, maybe, and then late summer, it's release or something like that. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, because then there's still enough time to release the unannounced game and more about, I mean, the first thing that we will get for part 2 this year still. I'm really confident that, I hope earlier, but the latest in December, we'll maybe get a teaser or a trailer or something for part 2.
Hopefully.
And then the release maybe 2023, the earliest. I really hope not later, because then it's been 4 years between releases, and that's pretty long wait for a game which already has the foundation, like the foundational gameplay and the engine, everything is there. They basically need to write the script, record all the lines, and do the motion capturing work, new characters, new locations. Still a lot of work to do, so at least 3 years. It was always my opinion. 2 years was too short, but 4 is just a little bit too long, I think, especially when they're going for 4 parts in total, as I start to suspect more and more. Because but that's something we talked about in other episodes, and this would be out of scope, I guess. But yeah, that's basically my opinion about all this Final Fantasy 16 stuff and my hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Optimistic, I know, but still.
Cautiously optimistic,
Yeah.
as usual.
Yeah, but if it turns out that it will release at the end of the year, I'm not mad or anything.
Yeah, same. I think that people were surprised that it wasn't shown at the Game Awards. I did hear a rumor that it was supposed to be shown, but they decided not to show it because I guess it was pushed back.
Yes, exactly.
And Yoshi P had said that, like you had already said, Vyzz, that the next time that we see it, it's going to be pretty close to being ready to be released.
Exactly.
So he said that we'll see it in the spring. So, I think that it's a good estimation. Like you said, probably we'll see it in the summer, like probably, beginning of summer in June or something like that.
Even better.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. People are saying February we're going to see it there's a Sony State of Play, and I'm like, I don't think so. I think that's too soon.
Yeah,
I
I guess.
see February at all.
I think so too. It's too soon.
I would say April or May. That's my thought process when we will see it again. But
yeah.
What do you think, Daddy?
Hey, I was thinking, like, are we gonna have like some sort of shortened code name, like for me while we're doing this?
Same, actually. Yeah.
I get it sometimes on streams when I'm chatting, and they're like, "What do I call this guy, Dad?" No, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
We can just say Platinum if you want.
Yeah.
Plat. You're just a plat.
That's it. I wasn't surprised at all, really, when we hadn't really heard anything, particularly at the big Sony. Was it September? They had the big sort of
state
reveal,
of play.
the big state of play, and they just showed everything like at us. I was waiting for some Final Fantasy, and we didn't get it. And I was like thinking, okay, we didn't get it here. Maybe we'll get something sort of special, because I was thinking that this game will probably get the Horizon treatment with the sort of special state of play specifically directed at it. I think that's what we're probably going to get. I don't think they will just slam a trailer at the end. I think this is going to take Yoshi P to come out and talk about the game and give us details along with a sort of extended trailer, maybe some sort of battle, probably like what they used to do with the remake when they did the E3 like sort of showcase for like 20 minutes. I think we might get something along those lines with them talking on camera and showing us a lot of the sort of mechanics, maybe a small section of the game. I think, maybe March. That is sort of the state of play time that we sort of get.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember when Horizons was. Was it sort of May or April, May time when we saw that? I'm trying to remember now.
I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
It was around the sort of the springtime when we sort of saw it. I'm thinking, maybe we will get something special like that, and Sony will produce it and put it out, because I think Sony state of plays do get a lot of eyes like on their state of plays. I think probably more so than maybe what a Square Enix one might. So they can use that and kind of bounce off and get a lot of exposure
exactly.
off of that. I mean, E3 is not really a thing anymore. We might get Summer Games Fest again. You've got Gamescom, and then of course you've got TGS. So I'm thinking like you, Vyzz. I'm thinking this is going to be maybe like September, sort of like holiday release. If it gets postponed by a month or so, cool. That's fine. If we get it by the end of this year, I think I'd be probably pretty happy with that. They made the announcement back end of 19, the original announcement, and it's out within 2 years. I think that's a decent cycle of, okay, we've seen the game, we've waited 2 years. That's a reasonable amount of time to wait for something. Unlike the sort of 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 that we've had on previous. This is a breath of fresh air. And the thing is, the team that developing this, they've earned this, because they've done such a great job with 14. And again, I'm not a PC gamer, and I did dabble in 14, but it was on the PS3. I may very well pick this up, probably on the PS5 at some point. I will experience this story, but that team has earned a lot of, not like leeway from us, but it's earned our sort of like respect, and they have earned our trust, is probably the best way that I can sort of say that. It's like, I trust that they're going to give us an amazing product at the end of it based on their previous experiences. some of the other teams that you might sort of think, like with Square sometimes, like some of their other divisions, you think, okay, like their previous track record, if you look at some of their long title releases, we're waiting a long time. But with this one, I trust that this guy's telling the truth. It's been delayed. He's been very honest and very open and very clear about it. It's hopefully, we haven't had a definitive confirmation, but I trust that he says that when we see this game, it's going to come out. And I have the utmost respect and trust in this man that he's going to be able to deliver on that, because he's earned it. Yeah, I definitely think that we'll see something pretty soon, and I think it's time to get excited, guys.
Absolutely.
Certainly,
I can't wait.
Certainly, yeah.
I've said it multiple times, like it's just such an exciting time for, I think, PlayStation and Square Enix fans, because we're getting so much Final Fantasy content.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know what I mean? Like, although there was a long wait to get Remake and obviously 15, because there was like a 10-year gap between 13 and the mainline 15 to come out. But I hope they learn the lesson, and it looks like they have, and they want to constantly release more Final Fantasy games / content, more regularly, and I'm all for that.
I think they've got their sort of development sort of not sort of organized, but they've got their ducks in a row now. They know where they are and what they're doing. They've got their different sort of studios. They've got everything organized. They've got their Luminous Productions. They've got this division that are developing 16. They've got the Remake. So I think everything's been organized very, very well. And now that they've got things sorted like that, they're not jumping between products. It's one of those things where you see Nomura obviously leading up multiple things. It's nice to see that they can really kind of, okay, we're focusing on different projects now. And I think maybe, want to say this is another golden age of Final Fantasy that we're going to be entering. We always look back at that sort of late 90s, early 2000s as that sort of big period, because we were having so much content over that sort of 6-7 years. I think we're going to see something very, very soon with 16. We're going to be having Stranger of Paradise. It's a different Final Fantasy game. We got so much of that sort of style coming up very soon from Square Enix. And yeah, this is a very exciting time to be a fan of Square Enix.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And even outside of Final Fantasy, I'm currently playing through Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is so much fun. This game, it's great.
I can't wait to play that.
It's interesting. It feels like an amalgam of so many titles that has a bit of Uncharted, a bit of The Last of Us. It has a little bit of Remake in the battle system. It has kind of a bit of a this Life is Strange feeling because of some story choices, and the diary, diary in music a little bit too, but the diary in the menu where you can read up on what happened, because it's also based sometimes on your choices, and it's also the characters and the voice acting and the dialogue and everything. It's so much fun. It works, and it also has a diverse level design because you're on different planets. And I'll just stop fawning right now, but it's something I can only suggest you playing, not just YouTube, but everybody listening who likes Square Enix games in general, like Tomb Raider, Uncharted as well. It's Naughty Dog, not Square Enix, but still it's similar. Who likes Remake, because the battle system has slowdown modes, and you issue commands to the others and learn new abilities and stuff. So it's it has a little bit of everything in it. Also 80s sound, 80s rock and roll.
I've got
heavy metal.
no plans to stream it. I want to play that game so I can listen to the 80s music. I've got it downloaded. It's downloaded. It's ready to go. I think once I finish Ratchet, that is getting that's getting played.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it has a really cool option, because for streamers they can just disable licensed music so that you can just play without. Yeah, they include this for streamers, that they don't get struck by Twitch and DMC and what have you. That's good. That there is an option.
It is good. It's a really good option. Really good option. But I don't know if I can play that game and not have that music playing. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Good thing is there's an album by a band. I think this is I'm not sure if this band is a fictional one and they just created for this game, or if it's one they have the license to. I don't know, but this is the only band that has like a full album on it.
Oh, I
And
think I know
those,
what you mean.
and those are not licensed. Like those
Mm,
you can play, so that's
yeah.
fine. But sometimes licensed music just plays during cutscenes, and then it will just maybe switch to one of those. I don't know. I haven't checked yet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listened to an interview with the voice actor of Star-Lord,
Yeah.
and he was talking about it because he listens to that band and things like that. I think it is, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, he says like, oh yeah, I listen to that like all the time, like they're on Spotify, like they're still touring or something like that.
Yeah.
Like if it's the same one I'm thinking of, that he was obviously going on with the game. But yeah, he's been
Probably.
streaming it like on his channel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's got a Twitch channel. John McLaren.
I don't know any of the names. I will look it up as soon as I'm finished, because when I look it up, I will probably get spoiled on some things. So I always wait until I finish a game until I look anything up.
There you go. Maybe check him out because he's got a streaming channel. So
I'm pretty far in, so I might finish it in the next few days or so.
Oh, fantastic.
See, I had some money floating around to get this game because I had like some PlayStation gift cards that I got. So I was like, which game am I going to get? Am I going to get Guardians of the Galaxy, or should I pick up Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut? And I chose that instead because then
choice.
I was watching some performance comparison videos between PC and PS5 because I thought I would get Guardians of the Galaxy on my PC instead, because right now Ghost of Tsushima is not on PC. So apparently the rumor is that it's coming. But I was like, I just made a choice, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick it up soon though. I've heard that it's pretty incredible. So
it has a few bugs and glitches here and there, but it works good, well enough.
Mm-hmm. So going back to Final Fantasy 16 here very quickly.
Yeah,
so I did look up. That's okay. I did look up on my phone. The last day of spring is actually June 21st. So if we go from the date that he made the announcement, which was December 27th, 6 months from then would be June. He said we're going to see it again in the spring, and then hopefully it would be close to being released. So I'm thinking we're going to see it probably the end of June, and hopefully be able to pick it up in July or August in the summer. That's what I'm thinking for Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. I didn't know if they would use TGS as a bit of a launch pad for a release trailer, and it's literally come out like the next day or something like that. I don't know if they would use, because they love TGS, like they always do. So I don't know if they would try and plan it around that and just get a big boost of sales coming off the back of it, or maybe it's already out and it's just one of those games where they're just, hey, you can already play this, but if you haven't, here, here it is again.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to release it at the end of the year, like closer towards December, because honestly, I think December we are going to see Ever Crisis, which was announced, and we haven't really gotten any information since the announcement. We don't have a release date. We just know that the date is sometime in 2022. So I'm thinking December we're going to see Ever Crisis, and potentially that might be a good time to kind of show us a teaser of part 2 for Remake.
For sure.
Wishful thinking. But I'm thinking it'll probably be December, close to the end of 2022 that we see Ever Crisis. And then that gives, space to 16 in the summer for us to kind of, get into that and spend time with that game.
Exactly.
Perfect.
All right, so moving on here, there was a rumor that Square Enix is working on more timed PlayStation exclusives, and it won't be long until the first new announcement. So this comes from Video Game Chronicles Jordan Midler on Resetera. So he was talking about Ubisoft having a close connection with Xbox, like more and more, especially this generation. And now we're seeing more Square Enix being, kind of attached to Sony this generation. And apparently it's just going to continue on for this whole generation. And I think that a lot of Xbox owners are kind of disappointed. I was thinking and looking back at games like the Final Fantasy games that were released on Xbox, and I think the only ones that were released on Xbox were 13 and 15.
I think so.
There might have been 11 though. There might have been 11, but I couldn't find that information,
Wasn't
unfortunately.
14 also on the Xbox? I'm not quite sure. Like the 360? The original
I think the
14?
original one. I don't know about the current version of it. I'm not sure. I think so.
Maybe.
But it's not surprising to me that, they're kind of getting tighter together, you know what I mean? Where they want Final Fantasy to be exclusive on PlayStation. Both of them are Japanese companies, and they've kind of just gotten closer and closer over the years. And I'm not surprised, and I'm okay with it because, I'm a PlayStation user, so.
Same, yeah.
But Xbox didn't really sell that great in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's a North American software company, right? So I just feel like, I don't know. I feel bad for Xbox players, but it is on PC and you can stream it to your Xbox if that's what you want to do, and you can play it on your Xbox with like screen share or whatever, and use your Xbox controller on your Xbox Series X if you want to play it that way, which is an option, and it's the same thing with PlayStation as well. You can use your whatever it's called, share play or whatever.
Share play, remote play, yeah.
Yeah. But, I feel bad, especially for Remake as well, because a lot of people really want to play Remake on Xbox. I think it will happen eventually, but I think that it's going to be a while longer. And with the release of Intergrade and Intermission, I think that they refreshed their exclusivity for another 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't see it coming to Xbox for a while anyway.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah. I think one aspect is, of course, monetary, because most business decisions are always about money and revenue and stuff. But I could also see that this helps the developers just pouring all energy into one platform and optimizing for that to bring the best experience possible. Because if you have to develop for multiple platforms, you always have to start from the lowest common denominator and target that, because otherwise you will end up with Cyberpunk 2077, where the current gen and the PC work all right, and last gen is just a train wreck.
Yeah,
you better just not include those console versions at all. So that's maybe also one aspect, but I'm pretty sure that the monetary aspect and maybe some contracts that are involved are much more of a bigger factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think, Platinum?
So I mean, yeah, Sony and Square have really had like a massive partnership. Ever since Final Fantasy VII, the original game, came out 25 years ago. My sort of I know, it's amazing, isn't it? My sort of understanding, particularly as I've been growing up, is sort of like, obviously consoles have their own franchises, and it's just always been synonymous with Sony. Like, if you were a Final Fantasy fan, then the console that should be under consideration is generally a PlayStation, because we haven't really seen the ports come over until quite recently, where they've been making it work. Because I think Game Pass has acquired the back catalogue, as has like PlayStation Now. They've been sort of pumped on there. Am I right? I'm not an Xbox player, unfortunately, but I think they've been put on there, because I know 13 and 15 were put up quite a while ago, but I believe the rest of the back catalogue's been added like on there, so you're able to play a lot of those. So I don't know if, like you say, further on down the line, it's going to end up on there, but it's not going to be anytime soon. I mean, I think with Xbox, they're making their own deals with them. They've obviously had Outriders day one. So I think Square are making separate deals with Xbox on some of their other like publishers and their other titles. We also saw things like Tomb Raider had an exclusivity like over there. I mean, that's Tomb Raider.
That's true.
Like Lara Croft is a PlayStation character, but Xbox got, an exclusive deal to have that game pumped out. I think it was a year exclusive deal I think they got with them.
Wasn't it only the second one, like Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Rise. Yeah, Rise. The other ones were multi-platform, I believe, but the second one was exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, what? Okay. But I just, I saw that and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Well, I just can't play this game then. I was, I kind of, yeah, sure. I just, I was
same.
I put up with it,
Same here.
It is what it is. Okay, I can't play that one. Okay. So I think they are making their own sort of deals. I think you'll see other properties coming over to Xbox. I think the Game Pass is such a great deal, and they do like to kind of have their game showcased and some of their back catalogue is going to come over. I don't know if 12's up there yet. Maybe they'll get the I don't know if they'll put the PS4 version up onto Game Pass at some point. Somebody might have to enlighten me on that one, because I didn't quite get a chance to see if that was on there. But that's what I sort of feel about it. It's a shame that, you know, Xbox don't really get them, but like you say, Vyzz, it's development cycles. They like to, you know, it's better for a developer to kind of be set up for a certain platform rather than multi, because then it's a different mechanism. If you're developing a game, like you say, for a multi-platform, it's a different setup. So they have other publishers for that. Whereas with the remake, they might not be set up really for multi-platform. And we may be seeing signs of that with the PC port. Maybe they're not quite set up at that particular one. Because 15 was Luminous, wasn't it? That was a different production. So maybe they're more set up for for multi-platform, maybe a PC. So you might see Forspoken after their exclusive deal coming over, because they might be more well equipped to be able to transfer it over. But with the remake, it's interesting because it's Unreal Engine 4, which generally is easier to port, because I looked up, sorry to divert, but I looked up Tekken 7. I was digging up some information about it, but because Tekken is obviously a PlayStation exclusive for pretty much all its life, but Tekken 7 was developed in Unreal Engine 4 because it was going to be multi-platform. So it came out on Xbox One and PC and everything like that. So it was able to do that because of the engine that they were using. So yeah, it's interesting that obviously with the remake being in that same engine, if they haven't been able to do it, but I reckon it is because maybe they're just not equipped to do it.
One factor is also they have a lot of custom tools built into the engine, and changed a lot of engine aspects like custom shaders and all those things. And I'm pretty sure if you do that, you can't just press a button and port it to another platform. You have to adjust your extensions, your tools to that as well, so that they can manage both or all three platforms, like PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or maybe even Switch or what have you. So that's their custom tools are probably no. No, maybe the Switch Ultra Pro in 2 years or something. I don't know. Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure that's one of the main factors why they haven't done it yet, and also the PC version isn't or wasn't up to par at the start, because probably some of their custom tools that interfered a little bit with Unreal Engine's multi-platform pipeline. I don't know. I'm not an expert in those things. Nor
me. I was just reading up on some of the information about it. Yeah, it was just because they changed the game engine specifically because of that reason. And I know I've listened to sort of Brandon over on KH Union. He's been dealing with a lot of Unreal stuff, and he talks about how you can use it through multiple platforms. So he's quite a good guy, because he works for a company now. Is it Brandon or Brendan? It's from guy from Kingdom Hearts Union, does the podcast over there, but he does a lot of that sort of stuff. He deals with Unreal Engine, so he sort of talks about it a lot, and that's where I get some of my my information from that one.
In general, it's true that engines like Unreal and others as well, like the Game Maker Studio, which I used in the past, are made for multi-platform releases. And if you use everything built in, it's pretty easy to port. Maybe I'd have to adjust a little bit, make some special configurations for each platform, but it's generally pretty easy to just export to other platforms. But as far as I know, with Square Enix, they changed so many things, not just external additions and tools. I think they really changed some core aspects of the engine or something like that. And this just doesn't work for this sort of multi-platform concept. That's what I gather anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think what the unannounced game might be?
Personally, I haven't looked too much into it, but I also hear that people are murmuring about Chrono Cross, because I think it was on the list of this leaked NVIDIA gaming list. Yeah,
it was there. Yeah,
what was it? A Chrono Cross remaster or remake? I don't remember.
I forgot. I know there is a Final Fantasy IX remake. I think.
Yes, that's also something I'd leak, but I don't think it's that one. because I think they said something about this unannounced game is not a Final Fantasy title and not of a. I think there were like 2 or 3 points what it is not. I only remember that it's not a Final Fantasy game, so that's why people think it could be this Chrono Cross game.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm into it.
I never got around to playing that because was it that Nintendo? Was it Chrono Cross?
No, Chrono Cross was PlayStation 1.
Oh,
Chrono Trigger was the Super Nintendo.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, because I was thinking like because I heard about Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger, and I was like, okay, I'm not really lost on these. I had a little look at what they were, but yeah, I saw the Super Nintendo version. I was like, okay, but I could definitely see them waiting until 16 if it is later on this year because the whole situation with development, it's not surprised that everything's being delayed and it's going to have a knock-on effect. So it wouldn't surprise me if all their plans have literally just been like halted through by 6 months.
Yeah.
Potentially more, hopefully, if it doesn't, get any worse.
Yeah. And that's what I put earlier. There was an article that Katase had said that I think in July 2020 that the development was delayed for 7 Remake Part 2 because of COVID, but they had said that they don't think that that's going to have that big of an impact on, I guess, the process or something like that. But it says they will drop temporarily below 100% efficiency because of it, but he doesn't think it'll have an impact long term. But you know what? That was 2020. So
fair enough.
We're 2022 now. We don't know. We'll see. And yeah, I expect to hear more delays in the future. Yeah.
I think we can just accept it now.
Yeah, like all different types of developers, I think.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, so moving on here. Square Enix CEO announces NFT and blockchaining in games. So this is a big topic. I just wanted to kind of put it in here just to kind of touch on it because, it's a huge topic of discussion and there's been a lot of opinions and, statements made online about this. And I've just been trying to kind of wrap my head around NFTs. I know I've heard of them and I know kind of what they are. I've been doing research. I'm open to learning about it. I know it's bad for the environment. I think that they use like cryptocurrency to pay for it, which ultimately is also bad for the environment because it uses so much electricity to kind of mine for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it uses up a lot of resources, server power, and etc.
Yeah, exactly. But I've heard that it's the NFT space is kind of rife with fraud and people manipulating and just hiding their money in NFTs, basically like dirty money. And there's a lot. Personally, for me, in regards to blockchaining, like I have a job outside of the podcast and, playing video games and spending time and enjoying my life. So when I go to work, I get paid for an exchange of service. So I'm giving my time and I'm providing a service to my province and here contributing to, society here in Canada. So when I go home, if I'm playing video games, I want to relax when I'm playing a video game. I want to play it at my own leisure. I can see how some people would enjoy, playing a video game and then contributing to the video game world and somehow, having some kind of exchange of goods or whatever that may be. But for me, I wouldn't want to go to work, for 8 hours, come home and then play a Final Fantasy game that I have to also, let's say like it's not an NPC that's the shopkeeper. It's actually a person that's the Final Fantasy shopkeeper.
Oh boy.
And I'm working in my Final Fantasy world as the shopkeeper and I have to sell items to people playing it. And the only way for me to play the story is I have to put in time to be able to do, like, I'm just giving a crazy example, but like that doesn't sound fun to me. Like I just want to play a game and enjoy the story at my own leisure and do, whatever I want. If I bought the game, I've paid for it. You know what I mean? I bought the console or, I have a PC, whatever. And I just want to enjoy it the way that I want to enjoy it. But I can appreciate and understand like some people that might want to do that inside of a game. They want to build the environment or build things or, create music. Let's say you're a bard or something and you compose a song and you contribute the song to the world, and other people can buy your music that you've created inside of Final Fantasy, and you get paid in that way or something, like with in-game currency or real life currency. Like, I don't know, it seems crazy, but it could be, that this is the way that games are going in the future. But maybe I'll change my mind, maybe I'll change my opinion, but right now I just don't see myself enjoying doing something like that. And as for NFTs, okay, so we go to a shop and we can buy like a cloud portrait that's an NFT that I can buy, and then I can take it off of the system and use it the way that I want, I guess. In life, like real life or inside of the game, but I'm going to use in-game currency or real life money to pay for it. But it's like a one of a kind, or it's a digital copy of an actual piece of art that the developer made or something. Like, I'm just trying to kind of wrap my head around it. I don't agree with it, but I also, like, I understand why it's kind of heading this way.
Yeah, I feel you there. I also don't really know too much about NFTs. I just listened to a few people talk about it, and I know a little bit about blockchain technology. But as far as I understand, the NFT, also called non-fungible token, like it's a token, it's there, it can be like tampered with, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it all started with those stupid monkey PNGs or JPEGs,
Right.
like just weird images that don't have any value. It's like you buy something, a digital copy of something, and then you just basically own this copy, and the NFT is the digital certificate that you own this copy, but you're not the only one who has that, because everybody can't just take the image and replicate it. You just have this one copy of it, like legitimately, as if you buy a physical game. You have this physical game in your hand, and you have this. There are other games you can also replicate it, and the company that produces and sells the game can just print it as many times as they want, basically, if demand is there. It's, far as I understand, it's just a digital version of this physical market space. But it's something digital. You don't really own anything. You can't do anything with those zeros and ones. It's just data. And I don't really need to like prove that I have it. I just can have it, and it's there, basically. I don't really know what the real deal is, besides people making it out to be more worth than it actually is. Like it's just the belief that it's worth something because it's an NFT, because then you can prove, oh yes, I own this specific copy of this weird monkey image or whatever it is.
Yeah, with the certificate thing. I think it's also the signature or something like that of the artist or something. Like, you have a copy of an original piece of art, but I think there's limited copies of it. I don't think you can buy, like, maybe there's 20 of that monkey. There's only 20 of it. But the real monkey art exists in real life. It's just that you have a digital copy of that, and you have the certificate or the signature of the artist on it saying, yes, you've bought one of 20 or something like that. Like a collector's edition where they make a limited run or something like that.
Yeah, but here's the crux, though. With digital goods, if you create scarcity, it's just a fabricated scarcity, because you can just copy it infinitely. There are no resources needed to create copies like CDs and cases or cars or PCs or what have you. You really need the raw materials. You need a factory to produce those things and then ship it. And you need so much physical resources to bring it to your customers. With digital goods, you can just press Control C, Control V, and then you have another copy, and it's basically a nothing burger to replicate it and then create digital scarcity. I'm not sure where the benefit is, besides just being able to sell something that's infinitely replicable for high price. because there's where the fraud can come in. That's at least how I see it for that little knowledge I have about this. So, and you can also see the huge backlash all those gaming companies get, and other companies as well, for playing with thoughts of NFTs and how to integrate it into their ecosystem, because usually those companies are only in for profit and not really for benefit or the betterment of the space they're in our case, gaming. So, and those people who produce the backlash probably know much, much more than us three combined. So I'm pretty sure there's so many other things that I can't see yet because I haven't really looked into it as much. But I heard that it's rife for fraud, and it doesn't really do anything for the artists.
No, it hurts artists, actually, I think, because I don't think that there's any copyright laws
you're right,
yet
laws
for NFTs.
That's
right?
also a problem,
You can make like limited copies of the NFT that you have and then sell multiple copies of it, but the art actually belongs originally to a different artist, and that artist doesn't get a cut of the sale that you're making on their art, because you can technically just make a copy of it. And there's no law that states that you have to pay that artist, I don't think, because it's digital art. I'm not sure.
Yeah, hard to say.
It's so much.
I'm not a lawyer either, so
yeah. I'm getting loot box kind of vibes from this whole thing. Like, I'm getting like this is the next thing. You know what I mean? Because when loot boxes were created, I think, and having as well like DLC being locked behind a paywall and stuff like that. Like, this was kind of the uproar at the time when that was kind of announced, right? Because people are like, well, the whole game should be included. You shouldn't have to pay extra to get unlockable chapters, or same thing with loot boxes, or you can pay to win, right? Like, this is where we're headed, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Yeah. And also the statement of play to earn. It's just, why? I buy a game and play a game just to spend my time, to have fun, to have something to talk about with other people, to share experiences, to experience new ideas from the artists, from the writers, the game designers, and just lose myself in a different world, to just get away from everyday life every now and then, to just clean my spirit, my mind a little bit, just to just to feel good sometimes. Other people use drugs, which is not good. You shouldn't do that. Play games instead.
That is sound advice.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Platinum?
Oh, I hate that. I hate it. I hate games that have loop. Nothing against this stuff, but like, I won't obviously disclose, like, obviously, but I have someone that I sort of know, and they spend a lot of money on the packs of cards, like in FIFA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of money, but like, it's being done because the investment is there to try and help you win in sort of online, sort of leagues and matches and things. That is sort of, again, like I say, pay to win. And I think this is probably kind of taking that a step even further, where you are going to see, people that have the money to do this, investing in video games to sort of fund this sort of stuff. Because I got sent an article from a client of mine. He sent me over an article, and the article went through a few different companies and some examples of like NFTs and what could be happening. Because the same thing with like the packs in FIFA. The way that the article put it was that you could basically own a player or a player card, and you could then sell that card to people that wanted that player. So say, for example, you owned, Ronaldo, you could then put that on the marketplace and say, I've got him, you can buy him for £1,000 or whatever it is they're going to sell it for. So rather than buying pack after pack after pack, you could just buy the one that you wanted. And the other example was like things like skins. Like, you could develop a skin for, like, say, Fortnite, and you could then, if you were playing with that skin and other people wanted it, you could then sell that skin to other people, and it's then you, as the owner of that skin and the developer, would get a cut of that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. from what I was reading in the article, that was what the NFT was sort of like based on. And I was like, that's like, if you're a business person, you wanted to invest into businesses and, you know, you're into all this sort of stuff, fine, go for it. It's not for gamers. This sounds more like Wall Street to me. This is, you know, this is like price is high, price is low. Like what's, you know, because you think about, you own this product, then the price might go up, you then sell it. It's almost like stock market exchange, where like you buy things, sell things a lot of the time. That's what that's what it sounds like
it's
to
like
me.
Its own marketplace.
Yeah, it's almost like its own marketplace, and it's like, go to Wall Street then. Like go and do stocks then, if that's what you want to do. If you want to actually buy digital things that you don't actually own, but you have shares in or whatever it is, and make money, you can do that. Obviously, do that at your own risk. Please don't take my advice on that one.
Yeah,
but
no financial advice on this podcast.
Yeah, don't get financial advice from me. Please don't do that.
No.
I'm the worst. Don't.
If you do, from me, you will be sorry.
Exactly. But that's what it sort of sounds like. And I was like thinking, how would Square integrate this? Like, what would they need, and why would they need it? Because let's face it, Square have pretty much developed their own money-making machine in Final Fantasy XIV. And the reason why it's such a money-making machine is because it's so good. Like, it's an awesome product. People want to play it, so much so that you have to take it off of sale. Like, no amount of NFT, whatever this is going to have that kind of, like, generation, impact in the market as what Final Fantasy XIV is. Final Fantasy XIV is something special because in that marketplace, that is the hot topic right now. Like, this is the hot property that you should be playing. And it's not because of, you're buying all this stuff. It's because it's a good game. Like, I don't understand why they can't just make good games that people want to buy and make money. Like, stick to what you're good at here, Square. Don't go into this, please.
It's because making good games creates effort and needs more money to be spent from the shareholders. They just want something that is cheap to create, but then gives a boatload of revenue. And NFTs probably will do that. But what I also not really quite understand is, like the examples you gave before, why do you need NFTs for that? You can just sell this as a digital product. Just, I don't know, it's just so weird. For the players, there's no real benefit I can see here.
I think it's like what they're trying to do is obviously have the ownership. They want it to sound like it's an ownership of you, and it's kind of a way for them to almost make it about us, maybe. Maybe it's just a way to kind of think, well, we could put these stuff on the marketplace, but, it's about the creators. It's about us providing something for everyone else. Maybe they just want it to maybe sound a little less like they're sort of just, like you say, shoving paid DLC down our throats. It's just another avenue, isn't it?
I'm thinking more like it's, you build a house or something, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to buy this NFT, which is art of Cloud's face or something, and then you put it on your wall in your house. Like in 14. Like, I don't know.
Oh, right,
kind of like GTA 5 or something like that. You know what I mean? More like that type of thing.
But again, you don't need an NFT for that.
Exactly.
You
don't need
buy
an
it
NFT.
and then it's there.
Yeah. But I think it's the NFTs, like the whole, like you said, the certificate and the like the signature of the artist, and like, but it's just people can just copy it. So I don't know the solution to this.
I think with NFTs you can just sell it for more because it's artificial scarcity, and it creates more value because apparently it is a limited thing and you have the certificate for that. Therefore, it must be worth more, so it can be sold for more, and then those behind this whole system earn probably more as well.
But I heard something as well with people like buying an NFT and then selling it to themselves at a high price.
What?
They make a new account and then they sell it to themselves for like 50,000, but it was on sale for 10. So it makes, like you said, artificial scarcity or whatever, like it's popular. And then that person then with their second account reposts it at like 100,000, and they can see, oh, this NFT just sold for 50, so
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want it
I
because it's
see.
gonna
Yeah,
go
yeah.
up, and then they
Get
sell it
it.
for like triple or quadruple what they
Oh.
originally paid for it,
Oh,
which is
dear.
fraud, right? Like you
Yes.
shouldn't
Yeah.
be able to do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And yes, the websites have that sort of they have like measures in place to prevent that from happening, but I think that it has happened, and I don't know how much they've done about it or care, or like I don't think it's a regulated space yet. And like I said earlier, like the copyright laws, like what are the laws? I don't know if there's
Probably
I think
none.
there needs to be new laws created for this space. Going back to the other point though about the marketplace, I will say that I do play Dota 2. It's a free-to-play game on Steam, and there's only cosmetics that you can buy for your characters, kind of like League of Legends. They
Right.
don't change the stats or anything for the heroes. You have a huge roster of heroes that you can choose from. They have battle passes that you can level up, but you can do it with in-game achievements as well as paying money to unlock levels. And then later you can post your sets that you have that might be rare that you're not going to use for a hero that you don't really play to the Steam marketplace, and other people can buy it for real money, and that money goes onto your Steam account, which I like. Like I can get sets that have been created by Valve, but also sometimes it's created by artists that actually make these 3D models that do sell them,
nice, yeah.
and they get a cut of it, and so does Valve. So like I'm okay with that. I can find a set for my favorite hero that's on the marketplace for cheaper than what Valve is charging me currently, let's say on the Battle Pass. Sometimes I can find it cheaper, sometimes it'll be more expensive. It depends on the popularity of like how many of those sets are selling currently, how many, because I can sell a set and set my own price. Like I can put $2,000 if I want. If somebody's crazy enough to pay $2,000 to buy that set, even though there's a million of them created that you can buy for 60 cents, then that's the person's choice. Do you know what I mean? But I can see this being applied to Final Fantasy, especially 14. Like if there's artists that create sets that people might want to buy, and then being able to sell them on a marketplace for maybe in-game currency or real money. I don't know what the regulations are for that. I just know that for me, like if I buy something buy something from me on the Steam marketplace, I get cash, but it goes to my Steam account. I can't withdraw the money from Steam and put it into my bank account. So I can use that money to buy, let's say, Remake on Steam when it releases. I get a discount because I have like $50 saved from selling a bunch of Dota sets, but I can't put it in my bank account, right? Which is good because then I'm getting paid for selling the sets that I ultimately already bought or unlocked in the game, but I can't get the value of that into my bank account. You know what I mean?
It stays in the same ecosystem, which makes sense, because otherwise there will be fraud. I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would be okay with something like that for Final Fantasy. Like that's fine, but it doesn't, it's just cosmetics, right? Like it's not going to change how I play the game specifically, that sort of stuff. So anyway.
So, and now let's just ponder a little bit in a few years in the future if this NFT will get implemented and stuff, and then the final part of Final Fantasy VII Remake releases. Will we need to buy certain materia, like materia NFTs, material that other people create and stuff to play, and the bare bones game just has like half of the material we expect, the rest we have to buy, and it's scarcity because maybe there's just 1 million of one materia there, and please no Square Enix, just forget about NFTs.
No, we have to go to work. We have to go to work at the Golden Saucer.
Oh
boy,
no.
Like as an employee.
Just
We like
the music.
virtually.
You just have to hear the music over and over and over
Yes.
again.
Yeah, like we're at Golden Saucer, and I'm like the item shop guy. Like that's me, okay? Like I worked all day at my real job in real life, and then I'm sitting on my console, and I'm the shopkeeper. And it's like, oh, you can't unlock, the next story chapter or whatever until you put in 8 hours of work at the item stand.
No, please.
Oh, no.
Or just have to reach a certain amount of points at G-Bike or feed Moogle 3 times, or I don't know. Weird stuff.
Imagine it's just an empty open world, like it's just empty, and then it's like a list of chapters you can buy, and other people made all the stories you can buy, whatever. But then you have the official game chapters, like one at a time or whatever. You're like, okay, I'm gonna pay for chapter 1. If you don't pay for anything, it's just you running around the gold saucer, and there's like nothing or something like that. Like that's the hub, you know? I don't know. Anyway. I hope
Play
not.
to earn your progress. What? We already did that before without NFTs, without anything else. Just bring.
But you have to buy the base game though, and the
Yeah.
prices of games keep going up. So
Yeah, of
you're going to
course. Yeah,
spend
sure.
like $110 for the game, but then there's no chapters because you have to either work at the item shop, do some kind of a job, create something, or pay real money. But you already paid $110. Anyway,
Don't give
I hope
many
not.
ideas, please.
All right, guys. So we are going to move on here. We are going to be talking about the all glorious trophies in PlayStation games, specifically Final Fantasy VII, OG, and Remake. But first, Platinum, why don't you tell us your history with Final Fantasy VII?
Oh, I feel like I'm going to be preaching to the converted here. I think if you're in your mid-30s, I think my life is going to be very reminiscent of your own here. But I have got my video up on the channel. But some of you may have seen my sort of background with Final Fantasy. But if you haven't, I'll give you sort of a quick rundown. But this game, it absolutely did change my life. I think it really resonated with me in terms of how games can be, because back then, like when I was sort of playing a Super Nintendo, even when I got my PlayStation, I was very much like locked into your platformers, racing, even just like a bit of FIFA, you know, typical sort of games that I was playing back then. And you know what? Like I got exposed a couple of times to Final Fantasy. It was when a friend of mine borrowed it off of somebody, and I went around his house, and he was like, "Oh, we've got this really cool game. Like, let's sit down and play it." And I was like, "Okay." You know, so we get off the train and we go through. We get to Guard Scorpion, died. Go back again. Guard Scorpion, died. Couldn't get
Well, that's
past
because
the
they didn't
first
tell you the
pass.
correct instructions.
Exactly.
It was like a
They told
translation
me
error.
the wrong instructions. But even though I saw only just 10 minutes of that game, it just captivated me. I was like, this is insane. This gameplay it really resonated with me, and it really sort of like I never forgot that moment of just like that first time I saw the game, even though I didn't get very far in it. Like, you know, grand scheme of things, what is it, 10 minutes? That was all. That is all I saw. But another time was shortly after that. We have those. I don't know if you have these like days after school at the end of the year where you can bring things in. And you just have a bit of a play day where you just basically muck about on the last day of term or last day of school. Anyway, my friend brung his PlayStation in, and he had Final Fantasy VII, and I sat next to him for 8 hours. I just watched him. I watched him play mid-card section. It was glorious. It was. I was transfixed. I just could not take my eyes off this game, and I was like, "Can I play it?" And he was like, "No." You can watch me. I was like, "I know, right?" And he was like, "No, because you'll just die." And I was like, "Okay, right, fine, I'll just watch you." But he spoke so passionately about it because he was like, "This is like, you know, such an amazing game to play." And I was like, "Yeah, I need to get this game." But I was like 13, 14 at the time, so you don't really get a chance to, you know, just go to the shops and buy a game. I have to, you know, ask my parents. And I'm like, "What? What is this Final Fantasy that you're talking about? Like, what is it?" But anyway, I actually ended up getting the game. My dad bought it for me. We were on holiday one time, and there was games available at this. We were on a ferry. You go into the sort of shop there, and like there it was. I just, you know, those moments you sort of see that glorious white case with the logo just slapped across it. I was flicking through, and it stuck out to me, and I remembered it from when we borrowed the game before, and I was like, this is it. And I held that case up into my chest, and I held that thing and kept it safe, popped that disc into my PlayStation, and I've never looked back. My childhood was just, I owe it to Final Fantasy. I absolutely do. I'm an only child. I don't have brothers and sisters. I spent most of my time as a kid gaming. You know, I went out and, you know, did, you know, friend things and played football and stuff. But really all I wanted to do when I get home was play Final Fantasy. I ended up with 2 copies of Final Fantasy X. That was how much I love Final Fantasy. My friend got it at school, and I asked him to go and get me one because his mate was like out of school or whatever. We were in school. I was like, go get me a copy. I get home, my mum had bought me one because she knew that I wanted it. So I had 2 copies of Final Fantasy X. Like, this is how much I adore the game. This is a series that has just, it opened my eyes to a very different sense of gaming that I didn't realize was possible. Like,
yeah,
you know, I'm sure people listening are like, yeah, yes, I know, mate, I know. You know, Final Fantasy VII is completely my jam, and that golden age of Final Fantasy is just, it's just I look back at that, and that was just like the happiest points of my childhood, was just sitting there playing it, because, you know, I had Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear, Resident Evil, some top titles like that, but really it was just, okay, what Final Fantasy game do I want to play again? Like, but that was it. But I did fall out of gaming a little bit. You know, as I sort of got a little bit older, I went through like Final Fantasy 13. I did 13 and 13 too. But when sort of the turn of the decade sort of came in, I really didn't I sort of fell out a little bit. I was transitioning through jobs. I just moved, because I moved locations. I sort of relocated, and I wasn't really buying any games. I was really sort of out of the loop because I was sort of so concentrating on my new life that I was sort of going through. That gaming was sort of a bit of a secondary thing, like, to me. And like so much so that I had no idea Final Fantasy 15 or even Remake was a thing. I had zero clue, and that upsets me sometimes. Because
no, I wish I didn't have any.
I know, right? Because Final Fantasy 15 Shadow dropped for me, and I listened back, because I listened back to Final Fantasy Union, and I listened to you guys on the podcast when it came to Remake. I listened back to Final Fantasy Union, and I listened to them like just going on and on and on. Oh, we're gonna see, you know, Final Fantasy 13 or versus 13, guys. It's coming. The trailer's coming, and it never does. And I was like, oh god, to be living through this period and to be like, yeah. Yes. I kind of missed it. So I missed that blackout period of that sort of, I suppose, what would it have been? 2010 was, no, 2005, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 10 years.
10 years, wasn't it? It was 2006, wasn't it? It was announced as versus 13.
Yes.
I missed that whole period, really. I didn't really get a chance, but I played 15. That kind of like sparked a little bit with me, because that came out when my first daughter was born. And I remember playing that late at night when she was asleep in the basket next to me. She'd be asleep. Mummy would be upstairs having a sleep. Baby there, Final Fantasy on the TV. You know, wakes up for a feed, do that, put it back down, Final Fantasy again. So I managed to kind of get through Final Fantasy 15. I didn't platinum it, but I platinumed it last year. But I played it, but then I went back to platinum it last year. But I had no clue about the remake. And do you know what? The moment I saw that remake, and I remember it vividly, for some reason, I was scrolling through YouTube. I'd never really been into it. I had just sort of discovered, this is so weird, I feel so backwards. I just discovered YouTube in 2017. I came across the trailer, and it blew my effing mind. I was like, what? This is a thing, right? And then I saw the second trailer, which was the PlayStation Experience trailer.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, like this was a thing? So I was scrolling YouTube. I was like, right, I need to find every piece of information about this game. Like, I need to know when this is coming out, because I just remember being 13 years old and playing the original game, and how much that changed me and how that impacted me. And I knew this was going to happen again for me in my 30s. So I just like instantly. So I discovered you, Vyzz. Like I found you. I'm not sure when you sort of started doing, but I remember before you had Cosmo Canyon, you had a different name, which I believe is your
Vyzz was at the
yes. Don't ask me to pronounce it. I'm very sorry.
No worries. You're the only one.
I was like, I absolutely loved your videos. You were,
thank you.
Your attention to detail, because I love that. I wanted to know everything, Vyzz. So for me, you were just a dream YouTube channel, because I could just sit there for an hour, 2, 3, and just listen to every frame by frame detail. So thank you very much for helping me to understand all those bits and pieces in Remake. But
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh boy, that remake took me. It really did. Not a day went by that I didn't think about it. Unfortunately, I was just so overwhelmed by the whole experience. And I know I'm blabbering on about it, but this remake was just. And again, I think a lot of people will have a very similar experience of like it takes them back to when they were a child, when they were a teenager. You know,
absolutely.
It really, that game had a wonderful balance of nostalgia and just lure of a new concept and a new vision for the game. I think it had a great balance that it was tackling. It was a delicate balance. I think some people teeter over the edge either way. Some people might not have necessarily liked it as much, and some people really did.
Yeah.
I think they towed the line pretty bang on for what they were trying to achieve here.
I think so too.
Yes, agreed.
And I really do just like, so again, just so many memories of like the remake. Just all the way up to launch was just, I did things that I just never like. I stayed up late to watch E3. I don't watch E3. I don't stay up late that much, but I stayed up to watch that presentation, and I was just pumped to watch that. And that 20-minute experience, I still watch it now. I love watching that back with the guy up on stage.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
Neil Pabon.
Neil, that's it. Yeah. You know, let's mosey.
Yes. ATB.
Exactly. You know, I was watching PlayStation Access, you know, Rob. He lived vicariously through me. He was doing the videos I wanted to do. He was excited for this game. And I was like, yes.
Like a child, yeah. I remember.
Oh my God. You know, and I remember, do you guys remember where you were when the demo dropped?
Actually, no.
I don't.
This is how much I was just enthralled with this, because I was walking from my work to a shop getting a drink, and I just happened to be browsing my phone, and I was like, oh, okay, phone away. Right, you need to download this thing right now. And I was upset that I had to work until 7 p.m. that day.
I think I had to work as well. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
I was working. I remember that the demo was leaked previously because somebody had, I think they had decrypted the PS Store file for releases or something like that.
And right. Yeah.
The demo was listed on there, and then I freaked out because I thought that was the release of the demo, but it actually came, I think, a week or two after that. But I remember that I freaked out when I saw the posting that the demo was on that list, that it was coming, but I thought it was released. So then I freaked out. Similarly to probably how you freaked out, but mine was just a little too early.
I couldn't wait to get home and just play that. I think I played it about 4 times that night when I came home. You know, my poor wife was just like, what is this? And I was like, oh, please, just be happy for me. Just be happy for me. But like, yeah, because it dropped at the end of January, didn't it? Like, so we had that.
I think so, yeah.
Like coming out, and it just shadow dropped. It just turned up on the store, and it was like, demos here, guys. And I was like, oh my God. And we entered the pandemic, because obviously the game was delayed by a month, and we entered, pandemic. I had to try and get my deposit back because they couldn't figure out how to get my in-store pre-order to be a posted delivery. So they couldn't post my game out. So I was freaking out about that. So I was on Twitter, like basically atting the shop, saying, come on, sort it out. And eventually I was able to get like some sort of like not refund, but they could basically credit me the deposit back. And I ended up buying digital, because I was like, I need to pay this game on day of release. Like,
yeah.
But then it came out, we got sent out early. Everyone's getting their copies like a week early. And I was like, what? Like,
I remember I got my first class edition, I think, but I only got mine a day or two early. Some people got their shipments like a week early. Like I remember,
just stay off Twitter that day, that week.
Got hers like a week early. I remember one of the members of the Cosmo Canyon Observatory community got theirs. I think it was a week early or something. And I was like, no, please, dear God, I hope mine comes early. And I think it was a day early, and people had already finished
Probably
so many
finished
chapters.
it, yeah.
And then on the CCO Discord server, there was, I think, like a spoilers channel, and people were already talking. People that got it early about everything. And I was like, oh my God, I got to stay clear from that.
Yeah, we quarantined the people who
Yes.
already played it
just put
to
them
a
in
specific
another room
channel.
somewhere,
So that the other ones don't get spoiled. Yeah.
I stayed away.
Spoilers were everywhere. They were everywhere. Yeah, I had to get off Twitter because there were spoilers, but...
Yeah, same. I also had to go almost dark until I could play. Also, funny thing, and this took a lot of discipline. I ordered the game by my favorite online retailer, but since I didn't really know or didn't have the confidence that it will arrive on time, I also bought it digitally. But then it did arrive like 3 or 4 days earlier. But since I wanted to do a let's play, record a let's play, and also wanted to continuously like upload, I didn't want to start until actual day of release. So I just kept the copy at home, lent it to my roommate who played it, and then just waited until day of release when I could play the digital version and then just record. It was my plan. I just went through with it. It took a lot of willpower to not just
I was
play
going to say,
right
well
away.
done for the willpower, because if I held that copy of that game 3 days early, that won't get passed to anyone else.
Yeah.
That
but
was
only
gonna be
because
played.
I planned to record a let's play. Otherwise, I would just shut myself off from the rest of the world and just play through in a few days or something. But yeah.
See, I played it and then I took breaks because I felt like I didn't want the game to end, because that's I kind of get like that sometimes where I'm like, I don't want it to end and I don't want to be finished. So I just play it and then I will stop playing it for a while. Like I'll take a long break from it because I'm like, I have anxiety about finishing it and seeing the end and then knowing that I have to wait so long for the next part, So, but yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I thought it was incredible, and I was open to receiving it for what it was. And I think that was the key to enjoying it a lot more. Like sure, there were things that I wanted that we talked about Vyzz on the multiple episodes before the game came out. And, but ultimately what we got, I think, like you had said, Platinum, that I think they did a bang on job. Absolutely. And they did a good job of creating that nostalgic atmosphere and invoking emotion in us as, players. And also they did a good job of attracting, I think, new players to Final Fantasy.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
Yes.
The combat system was absolutely amazing. I think it's one of the best, to be honest with you.
I think it's the best that they've done. I think this has been
so far
a work in progress for... You got to think like since the original, because even though it was technically turn-based, it was still a little bit actiony, where you weren't necessarily taking turns. People were still fighting when they could fight. Like, it wasn't like, unless you put it on wait, obviously, but on active, it was almost like a battle. And I think this is something that they've been working towards. And you can see that progression over the course of the game. With give or take a few differences in some of the games, like 10 or like with 12. If you've seen some of the main like title release, I think this is what they've been looking to do ever since they've had the ability to be able to create that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially too with episode intermission, I think that was their exploration into synergized attacks, like team up attacks, and also improving aerial combat. And I think that we're going to see more of that in the subsequent parts, I'm hoping.
Oh, for sure.
And it could be their answer to, the party system, because like we can only have 3 party members at one time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like to see you being able to have like control of maybe 3, but the other party members are in the background and you can just still do synergized attacks, and maybe they're in the environment with you, but they're auto attacking and you can't control them. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know. I also like the tag out system of 10, where you can kind of like tag in and out, and then the next person runs up into battle. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But anyway.
Yeah, I think we saw, obviously, with a little bit at the end of obviously with the remake, is it chapter 17
Yeah.
when you're down
Yes.
and you got the PHS system? I think that was
Yes.
basically them sort of trialing that, where you're basically traversing through an area. You might have to constantly switch parties. That's probably going to be something that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of, I think, in the next part, where you're going to have multiple characters that you might be able to sort of switch between the groups. So you might have this group is doing this task and this group is doing this task, and you might need to keep switching between them to do different parts of that. And they did that in a small contained area where they were sort of maybe just trialing that system out. That might be why they developed it and designed it that way, because they were maybe just sort of trialing something out to see how a system like that could work. And I agree, intermission was an awesome way for them to look at some of some of the flaws that they were looking at, particularly with the aerial combat, because yeah, I think that was one of Remake's sort of downfall. Unless you had Barrett or Aerith in the party,
Yeah.
it really suffered. You couldn't really do much with them. You got obviously your magic attacks that you could use, but that was definitely something that was particularly, was it chapter 15 when you're traversing up the top?
Yeah.
You got a lot of flying enemies, and it could become a little bit irritating to try and like get to them most of the time, because you're just sort of sitting there with Cloud swinging your sword, just trying to get your ATB up, and then you're able to fire off maybe a magic spell or something at them. But for me, I really enjoyed a lot of like the storytelling in the games, because that's my bread and butter. Is I love to sit down and just enjoy a story. And I think what they managed to do with that was I think they tapped into what makes good character building, and they really enabled us to kind of see what the characters are really like. Because in the original, it's a text box. We kind of have to fill the blanks in. You know, they kind of give us a colouring book. We can see what it is, but in order for us to really get the full picture, we have to kind of fill in the gaps. So when you're seeing the characters, it's not always what they say, but how they say it and what their body language is like when they're saying it.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, that was like, when I was playing through this game, it was just so incredible to really get a feel and a sense of the characterizations. Like, my best example is Barrett, because Barrett doesn't like Cloud. He doesn't trust Cloud. He doesn't want Cloud. So why is he going on the next mission? Barrett is going to be like, nah, we can do this. We don't need him.
Yeah.
It totally made sense from a story like perspective for him to be like, nah, you're not on the mission. That's my decision. That's final. Whereas like Jesse's like, you know, I wish we could have you, but you know, it is what it is, unfortunately. And it's
exactly.
I like the fact that the story was character driven. I understand the sense of the whispers, because they were quite obviously a plot device, kind of manifested. So we were forced to get through to, you know, point A to point B to point C to point D. I can understand like people's sort of like not negativity towards them, but they're kind of grunts like, because they were quite essentially a plot device to kind of force a narrative like onto us, because we know what the original story is. They know what the original story is. The characters not necessarily want to get to the next bit on their own. They kind of need a nudge. So it was sort of like they've kind of created something to necessarily like do that. But at the same time, I think they did a good job of putting that into the lore of Sephiroth, of the way Sephiroth wants to use the whispers, and he is, you know, using them to try and like get to the planet and all this sort of stuff. So I kind of liked how they actually like implemented that into the lore and the story of that. But I can understand people's gripes with it a little bit.
But I think that there's more that we don't know that we're going to be finding out in the subsequent parts that will hopefully answer questions that we might have, or apprehensions to the story, which I'm okay with it.
Oh, I'm here for the ride. Like,
yeah, same.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we're moving on here. We are going to be focusing in on trophies and games and how they affect how we play Final Fantasy VII and VII Remake specifically. So, Vyzz, did you want to start off this?
Gladly. So basically, I'm in and out of trophies. It really depends on the game if I'm going for them or not, if I want to put in more time or not, if it also depends on the trophies themselves. If they're just more busy work and I'm not really enjoying doing the busy work, then I just say, no, screw it, I'm not doing that. Although I did it for Final Fantasy 13 because there was one where you had to like equip every piece of equipment at least once in the whole playthrough.
Oh, that's a
Means you
horrible
need to get
trophy.
everything,
Oh,
and it was like,
Yeah.
oh. But it was a Final Fantasy, and I liked playing it, and just needed to complete it. It was just an internal urge, just to complete the whole thing and 100% it, and I did. Same
good.
for
That's nice.
13 too, but that one wasn't that bad. I stopped doing it or trying to get platinum for Lightning Returns because it also meant to play through hard mode, and I had to play through this whole stressful experience again because of the time pressure. Even though, if you know what you're doing, time pressure is not a thing, but it's still stressful to make sure you have enough time and run from A to B and run here, run there, maximum efficiency and whatnot. I just thought, no, if I'm playing it like a second or a third time, I want to relax playing through, and I
Yeah.
don't want to like plan every step every time to get everything. And yeah, so I didn't do it for that. But in general, if I like the game and it's not too much of a hassle to get the platinum trophy, I will go for it. And before trophies were even a thing, like the actual PlayStation trophies, some games implemented it themselves, like 12. They had this trophy cabinet. For example, when you killed, I don't know, 3,000 enemies or something, you got a FFVIIR statue or something. I'm just making it up right now on the fly because I don't remember. But there were so many things you could achieve, like defeating this specific optional enemy, or I don't know. I think also acquiring certain weapons or something. Just yeah, just the precursor for PlayStation trophies, basically. But you had the actual figurine trophies in your digital cabinet in the game itself, which was pretty cool and neat, I thought. Star Ocean also did a similar thing, but I think mostly for in-battle achievements, like kill so many enemies, use your special ability X times, or use back attack so many times, or use like a combo attack or what have you. Just all those things you could do in battle, but for every single character. And you had like, I don't remember, 6, 7, 8 characters, and I remember for, which was it? I think Last Hope, the fourth one. Some German colleague or friend I had back then, or I had contacts a little bit. He was so frustrated. He was a real trophy hunter. He just powered through it, but it was such a pain to get all the in-battle trophies or achievements for each one of the playable characters.
Yeah,
I think it took him way over 200 hours for everything, and was just yeah, it's just busy working. This is something I just say no, no.
Yeah, there's a line to be drawn sometimes with how much grind there's.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, if you really love the game and you're going to play it, like yeah, sure, but yeah, there is a line of like general grind that I'll do in terms of attaining a trophy.
Yeah, there's one in the original Final Fantasy VII, which is not too much of a problem, but can become a grind if you don't know how to achieve it, and that's the Gillionaire trophy. I think it's called a little bit differently, but you have to basically amass 100 million gil. I don't think you have so much. Do you have to have so much on your account at once?
Yeah, you
or
do.
Spent? Yeah, okay.
No,
okay.
it's at that particular time. So you have to have it at, you have to.
You need to see it in your menu.
Yes.
Okay, I see. I didn't remember if it was that, or because other games do it differently, that you had to like gain so many pieces of currency throughout the game. You didn't had to
like
have
not
it
in
on
total
your account
in your pocket,
but in
your
how
wallet.
much you gained throughout your playthrough. Like,
I'm fairly certain it's like that. I'm obviously it was only September last year that I got the platinum for it, so I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure that it was you had to have it in your inventory.
So. It could be. Yeah, I think it was like that. For me, it's over 5 years now because I played when it came out in 2015. Yes, 2015. But yeah, but if you know how to level up materia quickly and to sell all materia all the time, then it's not too much of a hassle.
I think I did the money exploit thing. Isn't there a bug that allows you to just like...
I don't remember.
I don't think they patched that out. I remember I did that in the PS4 version.
Oh, could be.
We needed that trick.
I'm a cheater.
Yeah. I just remember leveling up like 6 or 7 pieces of all materia all the time,
and selling it.
Yeah, and then
That's
selling
what
it.
I was doing.
Yeah.
I had a night of just doing the grind. I listened to a few podcasts and I was just running around fighting magic pots and just getting tons and tons
Yeah,
exactly.
Magic pots. Yeah, magic pots.
I had my setup because I was getting the master materia the hard way.
Yes.
Not by defeating the weapon. I was like, I'm gonna do this the hard way. So level up all of that,
same.
and then I just had a whole bunch of all materia. Obviously, every time it masters, you get a new one, so you just re-equip the new one, and then rinse and repeat. Exactly.
Yeah, I see we have all similar experiences here.
Yeah,
that one is that is probably the most grindiest one that you've got in the original anyway.
Yes, in the original, definitely. But it wasn't too bad because if you know how to do it, and if you know how to exploit the W item trick for getting 99 elixirs and then bribing the magic pots all the time, that's fine. Because turning... What was it, stealing from Tombury or morphing it? I think it was stealing from Tombury to get an elixir. Master Tombury down there.
I don't remember.
I think you could get it. I think by killing it and stealing from it. I think if you morph it, it morphs into a ribbon. If I'm not mistaken. But at least you didn't have to leave the area. It's all the enemies are in the same area. Also the movers, which also give tons of AP, but they don't appear as much. Yeah. But contrary to that, there is one game where I did more than required for the Platinum Trophy, and this is Detroit Become Human. Have you guys played it?
No,
I have briefly. It's one that I want to get back to because I love those games. Because I played Heavy Rain and I played Beyond Two Souls, even Fahrenheit when it was back on PS2.
Oh, okay, that's one I missed.
I like the game series. I like the mechanic of the sort of decision making, and Detroit. It's always been on my list, and I've got maybe a few chapters in, and then I kind of put it down and haven't gone back yet.
Oh, I see. Yeah, in my opinion, it's the one with the most outcomes that are possible. There are so many different paths and endpoints in the story. It's really interesting and also rewarding to play through it all the time and over again. And I think for the Platinum Trophy, you only need to... was it like 90% of all the nodes or all the important nodes of this story grid, the choices grid, the paths? But since I'm completionist, I wanted to see every single thing, every single node. Although by the end, I think I missed like 2 or 3 because for one I had to... Or for 2, I had, which were like right next to each other, I had to play through the whole thing and do some specific things to get this one. And I've seen it by then. I just didn't want to play the whole thing again. And then another one, I just didn't know how to get. It just didn't pop. I didn't get it. I didn't really know what specific choice I need to make. I think it was at this in a certain chapter where it's not about what answers you choose, but what actions you take. Like, do you go left? Do you go right? Do you attack? Are you like hiding or something like that? It's more about actions, and there are so many instances where you can try something else, do something else that certain people end up differently, or NPCs that are around you, and I just wasn't able to find the specific point to where it diverges. So I think I missed 3 nodes. But then my holiday or my vacation was over. I thought, okay, now it's done, it's gone. I'm just leaving at that. It's fine. I got the platinum anyway.
Yeah,
it's a nice one to have, definitely.
Yeah,
I like those games that obviously with the platinum, it kind of entices you to experience the whole game and just give it a little little bit of a nudge to go, oh, go on, just see a little bit more, like do this bit.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I play games and there are trophies like, and it's like, oh my god, that was a really fun way to like do the game. Or I did Mafia quite recently, and it asks you to play classic difficulty. And if I was to play that quite casually, I probably wouldn't touch it. But you know what? Like classic mode was just, it was joyful to play, and I really liked that mode. And I was like, I had that experience because the platinum, like the trophy, asked me to do it, and I enjoyed getting that little bit more out of it. It's nice when games do that.
Yeah, that's definitely really good way to implementing trophies or achievements if you're an Xbox player. Or I think on Steam they're also called achievements. Because usually it's, in my opinion, trophies shouldn't just be there to say, hey, I beat the game, or hey, I like killed 1,000 enemies or something like that. It should also say, hey, I did this side path. I experienced also this part, which many people probably won't. Or going back to Final Fantasy VII Remake, getting all 9 dresses. This is just something that most people probably wouldn't do, because you have to replay certain parts again to get different dresses for Aerith, different dresses for Tifa, and the ones for Cloud, fortunately, are within Chapter 9, so you can just reload. Can you? No, no, you have to replay the whole chapter.
You have to replay
Chapter 9. You have to replay Chapter 9.
yeah. And it's the whole Robo Hands.
You want me to get into it? You want me to get into it? Because I finished my hard playthrough and I checked that log and I was like, oh my god, I have so much left to do. And then I'm like, okay, so I just dove in right away again. And I was like, okay, Chapter 9, let's go. And then I realized, like, I have to replay Chapter 9 beginning to end.
Yes, everything.
Like 3 more
also
times.
Hell House.
And I have to beat Hell House like another 2 times to get all of Cloud's manuscripts. So I don't have all of his skills.
Did you get the same dress twice then?
Upgrades.
Did you get the same dress twice? Did you do the same side missions in Chapter 9?
I did my hard playthrough again, and I got the same dress as what I got before, but I answered the question differently. It doesn't. Anyway, I didn't bother to look up the guide to see what it was, but I should have done that, but I didn't, and I ended up with the same dress as my first playthrough.
Yeah,
whatever.
The thing is, you probably didn't. Which one did you get? The blue one or the one? Okay.
Yeah.
Then you didn't
purple
Chocobo Sam missions.
Yeah, Chocobo Sam. Yeah, then you didn't answer enough in favor of Madame M. It seems.
Yeah, you have to favor Aerith and Madame M to get the other one.
Well, I am not doing it yet. I took a break. I'm moving on to something else.
That's fair.
I was looking at the trophies too, and I'm like, I have to, for the platinum, I have to get all the other trophies, and I'm like, okay. I'm not doing this right now because it took me back. Like I loaded Chapter 9. I'm like, I'll just do it right away. It'll be quick. And then like I saw where Chapter 9 starts, right? And I'm like, do I have to do all of Chapter 9 again? I'm like, oh my God. And then I was like, I am so done. So then I started playing through intermission on hard right after that because I was like, whatever, it's only 2 chapters. So like I'll just play through that quicker, and and do the battle sim on hard mode. So I just finished that I think on Friday. But there's no platinum trophy for intermission, I don't think.
Not platinum, but just normal DLC trophies.
Yeah. I almost have everything. I actually didn't assess any enemies. It says 0 of 42 or 48 enemies. I'm like, what? But it takes up a slot, right? I'm like, I don't want to use that.
Assess materia is quite key for hard mode, I find. That's my big tip, is make sure you've got bosses at least assessed. So when you go back to them on hard, because they have some surprises when you play them on hard mode, and it's good to know some weaknesses to exploit.
Yeah, I did not do that. But yeah, I love trophies in games. I think it's great to have the option if you're a completionist and you love a game and you want to spend, the time into like getting, all the trophies. That's absolutely awesome. For me, like I'm not specifically a trophy hunter. I do it for games that I love, that I really want to sink the time and effort into completing it. But I do have an issue with trophies that kind of make you, I don't know, like they're very, very, very difficult to get. I understand that they're rare, but it's just, I don't know how much it's going to encourage me to get that platinum, because I need to look at, the time and effort it's going to take me to get it and put into it. And for me, it might not be worth the time and effort, or heartache and stress, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like it depends on the game. It depends on what that platinum is. And for me, for Remake, it's probably I'm gonna wait a little bit longer, because it is annoying. And I do appreciate having the chapter select, but I feel like they could have broken the chapter down further into even like subchapters or something where you can just load into like a specific part of the chapter.
Especially chapter 9.
Yeah,
so I can just get those dresses.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can just get the dresses I want, and then I save, and then I go back to whatever chapter I want to do next, and then you do a subchapter or fast forward. Maybe you can fast forward through the chapter. I don't know how they would do that, obviously, but
I could see that you don't have to finish the whole chapter, but at least finish a section, like those sections you see in the story summary in the menu. And that you could also jump to one specific point there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It would have been a bit more quality of life.
I've gotten quite a few platinums over the years. I think 13 and 13-2, I did those. Which was a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't have 13, so well done both of you for getting that one.
Thank you. Never again.
Oh my god, yeah. And also, can we just not go back to like unlocking like ultimate weapons by having to dodge like lightning strikes or something 200 times? Because
oh come on, that was fun.
No.
If you know which corner where I don't have to run around, just press X when the room lights up.
Yeah, that's what I did. I had the room in dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like imagine going through, I don't know if you guys have done this for like Souls games, but like I have PTSD just trying to like finish Souls games, let alone going back through and being like, I'm going to platinum Dark Souls 3. Like, no, I'm probably not going to do that. Like I barely got through it just by default. Like I'm not doing it, but props to people that do. That's all I have to say. And that's why it's so big and shiny on your profile, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like a badge of honor, like,
yes,
Dark
exactly.
Souls.
Bragging
People are
rights.
flexing. All right, Platinum. So tell us how trophies have affected how you play games.
I think it was about halfway through hard mode with the remake. I think that was the realization that I was making a decision of I'm going to go for this platinum, because before that, platinums were kind of reserved for Lego games and Telltale games. Like, I think I had like 5 or 6, and that was like that was my platinum history of before that moment. I remember beating Hell House on hard, actually. The kids were asleep. So I had one on my shoulder and the other one was asleep on the sofa. And I managed to get the game on, and I was like, right, I'm gonna beat Hell House on hard mode. And I did it with 2 children asleep in the same room, so I think that deserves.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I think they woke up pretty soon afterwards, and I needed.
I was about to ask, yeah.
Yeah, I needed to like save and just like be like done with it. I think it took me like three or 4 attempts, I think, to get past it.
But did you wake them up from your sheer excitement of beating
I
Hell
did,
House?
Yeah, I did. I was very excited.
Winning screams of victory.
I always found platinums very unattainable. I just always have. I'd always look, because I'm quite a completionist, like you, Vyzz. I like to go into a game and I like to find everything, and I like to do all the side quests, and I can't turn that stuff down. I have to do it all. And I like games that enable me to do that. And I'd gone through the PS4 generation without really thinking that it was possible to even like get platinums. I thought they were like, for like elite players that can really do the hard stuff, right? But I was doing Remake and I was getting through hard mode, and I looked at the list and I was like, I've done most of this. There's only a few things left that I need to do. Let's finish up hard mode and let's see how this goes.
Yes.
So I did hard mode. And I found out about like the secret boss because you get to go into the thing in Shinra in chapter 17. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 17. You
Exactly.
go in there and you get like the extra bosses, and I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
I managed to do the monsters first time, like with the Marlboro boss at the
Yes.
end, and you get bad breath. I was like, right, I get that because I know that's a trophy to get bad breath. I was like, okay, we got to get the enemy skills. And I think really what cemented it was the determination to defeat Pride and Joy. Because I wanted to beat him because it was a challenge in the game that I actually really liked. And I was like, no, this is a secret boss. I can do this. I'm going to win this fight. And I was determined. But having that trophy kind of just dangling there at the end of it going, well, you're going to get this when you finish it. You're going to get a reward for beating this guy. And I'm like, okay, determination started to set in. And I was like, it took me a long time to beat him. A lot more longer than what it did Hell House. It wasn't even the boss. I think when I got to the Pride and Joy, I beat him first time. It was getting to him. That was the problem.
Yeah. Stupid Bahamut.
Leviathan's an arse. And Bahamut's even worse. Like, I'd get maybe barely past Leviathan, and then Bahamut would get in there, and he would just kill me. And I was just going, oh, I need to just, need to think about strategy. So I did look up a few people's strategy. Some of them were like these stupid,
That's what I did.
Stupid speed runs. Like, here's how to do it in like 3 minutes. I'm like, no, can I have a real person's guide here? Like, can I have somebody that is, a real person telling me how to play this?
It's like Pride and Joy, 0 damage. And I'm like,
exactly. I don't need to know this.
What?
It's good. Well done. I'm proud of you.
Well, there's something wrong with me then, right? Like, I've replayed it so many times. Like, 0 damage. Okay.
Oh, but I managed to get it, and just the elation, the relief of doing that challenge was just. And then it was kind of like, well, I've only got a few things to do for the platinum now. I may as well just get the rest of these trophy. I think it was the dresses. I think the last trophy I needed was Biker Boy. I think that was the one that I needed to get last. And that took me a few goes, although I'm pretty good at it now. Like, I got the trophy on my first go, like playing Integrate. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, I've got this. Boom, trophy on my first ride. But playing it, I was like, oh god, like this is really hard, isn't it? But yeah, I think that was the moment, and that was, again, like, going back to one of your earlier questions of like how the remake like changed my life. Like, this gave me the confidence to kind of look at trophy lists and think that I can get these, like I can do this. And I actually, like, from off the remake, I then was like, okay, like, what game do I play next? Funnily enough, it was another Telltale game. I was like, I'll start easy. We'll play Telltale game.
Nice.
I had Batman because I did the first Telltale Batman, and then I played the second one, The Enemy Within. Wicked story. I love any Batman game. Really love those. I do have plans to platinum one this year. It's on my bucket list for this year to do. But I love the Telltale ones. It was a really, really great story, like, to go through. And then I looked back at some of my old games that I'd done very well in, that I'd got a lot of the trophies already. So I went through my list, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty close to, I think it was Modern Warfare 2 for the PS3. And I was like, okay, I need like a few trophies. I need to get the collectibles. I need to do the tutorial run in a certain time. So I need to get that. And I think it was another miscellaneous combat trophies. I was like, right, set it on very easy. We're going to do a collectibles run. We're going to do the time trial at the start. And then we can get this trophy by the sounds of it at the end of the game. So it was just an easy mode run I did through the game. And I managed to get the platinum for it. And I was like, well, that wasn't too bad. Like, I'd already done veteran mode. Like, that was my gaming style back then. It was like, I had the time to play veteran mode. Like, and to get all the medals and that, and, online completion or whatever it was, like, to do. I played that game to death back then. But then I looked back and I was just looking at games that I could just go back and platinum. And that's kind of how it sort of snowballs. So I just looked back at some of my backlog. And that was that. But I got the PS5 January. And that's where it just escalated. Like I was just busting out platinums from that point on. I did 20 platinums last year. That was my target. So I managed to kind of like probably about half of them were games I went back. So I went back to platinum, like, you know, Spider-Man, Kingdom Hearts 3, like
Nice.
amazing games that were like, do you know what? I want to play these games on PS5 because they run brilliantly. They're awesome games and I want to get the platinum on them. So let's play them again and let's just do that. Kingdom Hearts 3 is fun because it's just a collectibles grind. That's that is
fair, yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah. Some of those are a little bit challenging, but it's an amazingly fun game like to go through. And Spider-Man's always great. You know, Resident Evil 2 remake, one of my favorite games of all time. Like, was just I had a couple of trophies. I literally had like 2 trophies to get. I was like, how did I not just get the platinum for this? I don't know. I don't know. So I went back and I just got like a few, and then I started like hitting up new games. This is where like my journey started coming in. So I had ideas for the YouTube channel. Probably I started looking at some channels probably around this sort of time, sort of in January, February. I was looking at what platinum journeys were like on YouTube and what that looked like. And I was like, yeah, I could do this. And it sort of snowballed. And I got the idea for the channel. I started getting in a few bits of equipment, started getting my setup like ready. I did a trial with Ratchet and Clank, like the 2016. I sort of recorded my playthrough. I got a few things put together, but it never really like came to anything. I didn't actually do a proper video on it, but I wanted to get a sense of how I could do it and get a few bits put together. And then I did Marvel's Avengers. Ooh. That was, have you played Marvel's Avengers?
No, I didn't. I just watched trailers and stuff and heard the news about it.
The story's good. I'll give it that. Like the story's good. If you go play it, I recommend stick to story mode and like go through it. And particularly like a lot of the DLC. And I think I said it like in my journey video that this is the type of game that over time I think will get more appreciation. I think at launch it got a lot of negativity and it's sort of lingering, but I think there's room to go back and play it now because they've had a lot of DLC added into it. You've got Spider-Man in the game now, so he's always fun. I do recommend the story mode. I think it's a good story to go through. But the platinum, I'm not a massive like fan of the platinum for one trophy specifically, which again kind of builds into just needless grind for no real reason that doesn't provide anything extra in the game. And it was the gauntlets, it was the hives. You have to do 50 hives and they take 20 to 30 minutes each one.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you just,
It's like, let's not make this enjoyable. Let's just make it as like punishing as possible.
I know.
You know, which is unfortunate because
stretch
it
out
could be an
playtime.
enjoyable
That's all it
experience.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Stretching out the playtime.
I think the idea behind it, obviously with Marvels, it was very much a like a live service game. You play with your friends, you know. But the problem with the trophy, from what I understand, it doesn't count your run if you are not the host of that particular hive. So I played mine offline so I could make sure that I get the trophy in the most efficient time as possible because people were posting, I have done this hive more than 50 times. Why hasn't the trophy popped? And then people were posting, like, if you're online, it won't pop because it won't count if you're not the host. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, that's a good tip to remember if you're going for the platinum. Just gut it out and do it yourself. So I was just listening to music, you know.
Nice.
And just going on runs just over and over and over again. But that was probably my grind is. Everything else has been an absolute joy to play through. I've played some fantastic titles that I wouldn't normally play either. Like I delved into like Mafia, like I mentioned earlier. Wouldn't normally play a game like that. But it came up on PlayStation Now. I have that service, so I gave it a whirl. I liked it. Looked at the list. Yeah, I could do this. Great. Let's go. Let's do the platinum. Because there are games that I play that I don't worry about it. And I play it for fun.
Yes.
But there are games that I get into and I love it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go for this trophy list. This is a fun game. I like playing it. This is going to be good. And it's for me, it's a great sense of achievement. I really, for a completionist, and again, I think Vyzz, like you said, like you find something like that, you kind of just want to do it all anyway. And the trophies are just a really lovely reward and just a little, a little nudge just to kind of go, here, go over here and do this thing, or go and see if you can collect all these things, see what you find. I really love that, like in trophy lists, and I've been having an absolute blast. And I think trophies now putting into platinums, particularly some of the big games, have become a lot more accessible now. I don't think they look as intimidating as they once were. You look at a game like Ghost of Tsushima that you're about to play, you'll go through the trophy list, you're like, okay, you'll probably do them just by 100% in the game, just by playing the game. There's probably a few battle ones that I would definitely look out for. One specifically, and it's not much of a spoiler, but you have to kill someone by knocking them off a ledge.
Oh, okay. So
there is a trophy for doing basically full damage on someone. So just, if you find an opportunity, try and boot them off a ledge. That's
perfect. All right.
That's probably the only trophy to probably really kind of like keep an eye out is that one. And I found somewhere, and I just kept doing like a shoulder tackle. So I was just running and shoulder tackling, knocking them off the edge, and it didn't kill them. So the guy climbed back up again to come and attack me, and I shoved him off again, and then he died. So
oh my god.
But like I said, like I platinumed the remake. I did the original as a big birthday treat. It came on PlayStation Now for September, and I was like, I wonder if I can time this platinum for my birthday, and I did. So
nice.
that was a night up. And the thing with it as well is that as a kid, I never beat the weapons. I never beat them.
Oh, interesting.
As an adolescent, I got to those, and I was just like, I just don't think I'm intelligent enough to take these down. I'm just not good enough. I didn't know where the grind spots were. I mean, this is before the internet. This is before. Yeah. I mean, I had the strategy guide, but it doesn't tell you here are all the best grind spots. Like, just tells you how to finish the game. But I was determined I was gonna do them, and I didn't use any of the cheats. I didn't want to cheese it. I wanted to go in there with a strategy, with a loadout, and just do it. And yeah, they're quite easy once you know how to do mime counter, like Knights of the Round on MP Plus with Phoenix on a final attack. It's quite. It's not too bad, really. But I was very pleased with doing that challenge. It was a really nice way to kind of cap off that platinum. It was Ruby Weapon was the one that I saved until my last trophy. It was quite an interesting story because I didn't actually capture any of the game. This was just something that I was just doing for me. I wasn't planning on doing a video, and because I was playing the game on ×3, I was just whizzing through the game. Like I did it in like 20 hours. Like I just did the platinum. It was just like boom, 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 done. And I was just like, no, I need to do something about this. Like I need to do a video on this game. Like I can't let this go by. So I was like, okay, let's play the game again. So I played the game again for the capture.
Nice.
So I had to go all the way back again and do trophy capture for everything. And sad point was, Best Bromance. Do you remember Best Bromance trophy?
Yes.
Oh, I tried to do that without a guide, and it didn't work.
Oh.
So I tried to make all the same decisions as last time, and I got Aerith again. So I had to try and make shift capture just based on just choosing dialogue and just be like, yeah. You keep on this dialogue, you'll end up with Barrett, and I did it the second time. Oh dear. Yeah, for me, like trophies are just a wonderful experience. I think from start to finish, I really like to sit back, and I think as a dad, like if I just speak to like the fathers or parents that might be listening, this sort of stuff, it's not out the realms of possibilities. Like like gaming should be and always should be about enjoyment and about that. But if you are a bit of a collector and you are 100% and you want to get some platinum trophies, they are obtainable for us to get now, and it's it's nice to sort of see that we can kind of do them at our own pace, and we can kind of play games that we love, and it doesn't necessarily always ask you to do the most ridiculous things, and hopefully the channel can actually kind of inspire people to kind of like go out there and look to try and get these, because they really do provide some lovely experiences. You know, hard mode could be very daunting for some people, but you know what? Hard mode is a different playthrough in the remake. It makes you think about your tactics. It almost provides you with a very different experience. It's not just the same game, but more difficult. You have to really think tactically because you can't use your items. You have to manage your MP. You have to think about your strategy. You have to manage everything very carefully from chapter to chapter. You know, getting from bench to bench. You know, it feels more like a Souls game like that, where you have to kind of, you know, try and keep yourself alive through the wave of enemies that you're going to face along the way. So it's a for that to be a trophy and for that to be a game mode, I really appreciated it. I thought that gave longevity in the game. The trophy list to play that, you know, it allows you to have that experience, like to go through it. I might some people don't always like the hard modes, and that's fine. You know, don't play them. But I think if you were to do that, it's a great experience to do, certainly.
No, for sure. Also, the experience in certain boss battles, because they play out quite differently. Keyword Hell House.
Yeah. The guard scorpion done me. The scorpion, it done me again with the tail laser.
yeah.
He hits it twice in hard mode.
Yes.
He done me over and over again. I had to go out and just get revive materia again because I only had one. Yep. So I had to go out, go to a shop, buy revive, then come back, and then I could...
Yep. That's what I had to do on intermission because I had one and it wasn't fully leveled up. And then I was like, well, I should probably buy another one. But then it was level 1. So it doesn't obviously bring them back with full HP. So
yeah,
it was a challenge. It was a challenge. And also my elemental materia wasn't fully leveled either on episode intermission because it was so short. So like that means that I would have to grind a lot more for it to be fully leveled up than, you know, in intergrade. So when I went back on hard mode to do that, I actually ended up beating it on hard and did the battle sim on hard as well without having 3-star elemental or magnify or whatever, which is pretty crazy. But I do appreciate the hard playthrough because it allows you to go back and, you know, you get more AP, and it does cause you to think more strategically about you know, your choices in battle and to get the manuscripts to be able to upgrade your weapons. So it does, there's incentive there. Absolutely. And like you had said, to get the trophies as well, you need to. So I like that because it kind of gives you more, I don't know, like you might want to go back and play through it again. You know what I mean? It encourages you to do that, and it's more inviting, especially too with the chapter select. Obviously it could be improved like we had talked about, but I like games like that. They invite you back in, and it's more accessible to you on multiple playthroughs. And if you choose not to, then that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, you're not missing out really on that much if you don't choose to go back and play through it again. But if you do, then you're rewarded for that, and I do like that. So the replayability of Intergrade and Intermission for me was appreciated.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And it also helps that you can start again with all your equipment, your current progress.
Exactly.
And you can just go all out from the beginning. That's just really fun to play around with all of it in the first few chapters where you had basically nothing in the first playthrough. Also, since the story is not quite clear what actually happens and stuff, then it's great to go back and play through it again and then see everything from a different angle. So it also helps with the story. So it's multifold. Yeah, when you replay it, because the story isn't as clear as other games, you have to think about it, and there's so much subtext that when you play through it again, you get so much context for the first few chapters with the knowledge of where it leads to, that it also helps you understand the story a little bit better. So the advantages are manifold for hard mode, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah. There are things that I missed on my first playthrough, especially like narratively and just, you know, watching the characters and their mannerisms and like their emotions, how they emote, like, you know what I mean? And just the way they say things. I'm like, okay, all right. Now I get it, because we've talked about it so much on the podcast. We've talked together also with other people on the internet and our friends and whatever. And there's, we watched videos on YouTube about theories and whatever about the story. And now coming back to it again, it's like, okay, now I'm seeing these little things, that I missed, because the first playthrough, you're like, there's a lot going on, right? Like, you have nothing, you're starting from nothing, you're focused maybe on different things at the time and not necessarily the story or the cutscenes or whatever. And I had subtitles on, so I was reading the subtitles, which was annoying because I should just look at the characters and they're speaking English. So why do I have English subtitles plus you know what I mean? Like, why do I do that?
Yeah.
I like
But
having
then
the
I'm missing
subtitles
so
on.
much. Yeah, I like them too, but I find that I have to force myself to watch the characters' faces because I'm reading the subtitles
Yeah,
instead of
same.
looking at what's happening in the scene. So
Yeah. On the other hand, if you kind of miss a word, or if
mhm.
you're in gameplay and characters are a little bit farther away and you don't quite hear them, you can
Yeah, that's true.
still read. For example, in Guardians of the Galaxy happened a few times that
Mhm.
I was glad I had them. I had them
Okay.
activated.
All right, so moving on here, we're just going to break down the Final Fantasy VII OG trophies compared to Final Fantasy VII Remake trophies. So, Vyzz, you did an awesome job doing this on our doc here. So, did you want to just go through them?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I just looked through the trophies again because I don't know them all by heart. But I think the original games trophies are pretty well balanced. So you have from all aspects a few. You have some you can easily get on the way, like your first battle, your
Mhm.
first limit break, your first summon, and stuff like that. Then you have some for completionists, like getting level 4 limit breaks for everyone. Like for every
Mhm.
single character, there's one trophy for getting level 4 limit break. Then some of the best summons, like Bahamut Zero, you get Leviathan. It's not the best, but it's a special one. You have to do.
Mhm.
I think complete Yuffie side quest in the pagoda, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
that's right. Yeah, it's when you finish off the
Yeah,
Mhm.
like the Wu-Tai sort of side plot.
yeah, exactly. So it's basically a reward for seeing all the complete Wutai side story, which is pretty good that they tied it to a trophy. And Knights of the Round, of course. And wasn't there? No, I think it's only those three.
You get
Zero.
Bahamut. There's one for Bahamut Zero.
Oh, and the normal
Leviathan.
Bahamut as well. True.
Yeah. Not for Neo Bahamut, unfortunately. You get one for
Nope.
Bahamut, but yeah,
Yeah.
you get one there. I mean, technically, it's missable as well. Like they're missable trophies. You
It
can
is.
technically go past those.
It's like Ifrit and Rama or Ramu, and I think a few others. Quite a few missable,
So
unfortunately.
there's quite a fair few of them actually missable, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
because I tried to, again, I was doing the Master Summon hard way by leveling them all up, and I had to make sure that I could, because Alexander is a pain.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
it's a pain because if you run around too much on the glacier, then you just break down. You have to run in from Holzov's cabin again.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrendous.
That's the main thing. And of course, after a few playthroughs, you know a little bit your way around this place, but it's still hard to remember everything, and
Yeah.
the map is not as accurate.
Mhm.
So yeah. The actual motions aren't that hard. You just need to touch the hot spring and then talk to the lady in the cave, then beat her and get Alexander. But I think she's in a cave which you only get when you approach this part in a certain way,
I know.
Yeah, if you enter from above, you don't get through there. There's also another blue materia which is only obtainable when you run through the path towards the mountain uphill, but downhill you don't get it, or the other way around. It's so weird. It's such a strange place in the original.
It's like the thing with the original is like sometimes these things are like, how are you meant to know this without a guide? I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing explicitly tells you, oh yeah, there's a thing over there if you do this little side quest bit. It's like you just go, you want to get out of there, right? You're like, where's this thing? Where's the exit? Get me out of here, because I'm done with this.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, true. Yeah, so but if you're not a completionist, but still want to get out of your way, to do things differently second playthrough, like that Corneo chooses Cloud as a separate trophy, as you mentioned before, Barrett's Date, like the best bromance. It's also getting out of your way. It's just through the normal playthrough, but just doing different things, choosing different dialogue options, what I have here. It's
Yeah, the best bromance is difficult, like, unless you know.
Oh yeah, that as well.
It's yeah, I believe, like, if you were a newcomer, I wouldn't be recommending, like, to go through, because it just feels such a janky way to play it. Like, I want people to, obviously, because the canon story is Aerith, like, that's the date that you kind of go on. That's the one the game pushes you towards.
Yeah, because she has the most points from the beginning, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, she's got the most points at the beginning, whereas Barrett's got 0. You have to really fight to get him. So
yes.
It's like,
even Yuffie has 10.
Yeah, even Yuffie has a few points in there. Like, you know, you may get her instead. But yeah, it's one of those ones where, like, I wouldn't be suggesting for a newcomer. It'd be like, no, you'd probably, if you were familiar with the game and you knew it, go for the trophy.
Yeah, so it's definitely for a second playthrough to see something different, for sure. Like getting Cloud being chosen as Corneo's bride, because there you also have to do a lot. And I think it's certain things are also a little bit randomized, like which makeup you get is random. I don't think it counts towards it. There's an extreme detailed explanation on game FAQs, which part counts towards how much, and all the combinations that are possible, and it's more complicated than you think.
I feel like your odds increase. It's like a percentage. Like, your odds increase with everything that you get. So if you start getting the best stuff, it increases your odds. But there's still a very slim chance he doesn't pick you, even if you get the top. Like, if you get everything done, you follow it perfectly. So in my journey, I say, like, do a save right before you go over. Like, do everything that you can, do a save, then go. Because if he doesn't choose you, just reload and try again.
Yeah,
and he'll probably choose you. But it's a very slim chance that he might not.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas in Remake, it's just always Cloud, which was a bit of a bummer. But yeah, I think it made sense because they'd had to, like, create completely different scenarios there.
I like it. I think it's funny that he chooses him, though. I think that's just for the canon story. I think that's great.
Yeah. I think it also works because then Aerith and Tifa have time to bond over.
Yeah.
Bond over each other. I thought it cute. That's pretty cute that they had time to, like, fight together, beat up the baddies, and was nice. And Cloud is also like less. I don't really like that word, but it's less problematic in a contextual sense, in a cultural sense, a little bit. Or I don't remember the exact word, but because he's a guy who can easily just as you saw, kick Corneo. Tifa could do that as well, but it's just the undertone is a little bit shaky in today's climate. That's probably why they chose Cloud, because it's the least produces the least issue, probably. And also for story reasons, because Aerith and Tifa needed that bonding, and it started in the dungeon, then in the side room, and then it continued in the sewers, which from story perspective makes complete sense, I think.
Yeah, the characters definitely need to do that, so that's a very good point.
Yeah, and it also needs a lot more work to create different scenarios, because there's some more voice acting, more motion capturing, more the events, the programming of all the events, and making sure that everything works from a technical perspective. So it probably was also a little bit of that in there, because it's easier to just go for one option and be done with it. But anyway, with that tangent done, the original also had 2 optional characters, which were also tied to trophies, which I liked. So, as I said before, when trophy nudge you towards additional content that you might not have get to see during your first playthrough, then the trophy tell you, hey, why don't you check out this one? And what? There's a Yuffie, there's a Vincent. Who are those people? If you don't know anything about Final Fantasy VII, of course, which by today, probably all of
Oh yeah, definitely now.
all of people know at least a little bit about
Mhm.
certain characters in there. So yeah, wouldn't be too much of a surprise. But I also like that they tied some trophies to playing well, like beating the weapons. You really need to understand the battle system and level up your materia and creating effective loadouts for beating them, especially Emerald and Ruby. Ultimate weapon wasn't, I think, that much of an issue. The main issue for beating Ultima is just catching it.
Oh
with
yeah.
a high wind. That's if you
Mhm.
let it out of your sight, it's just sometimes 10-20 minutes until you find it again.
Yeah.
It's just come on. Yeah. And winning a chocobo race, it's not that difficult, but still you need to win it. Switch
I
it to
think that
manual
one's
and then hope.
a story related. I think you get that after the sort of coral section.
Oh, is that an oh
Yeah.
right, true. It's an auto win there. True. Because if you don't win, you just get a better chocobo, and then you get the better chocobo until
and
you
then
win.
until you
True.
win, then
Yeah.
you get to go on because you have to win to progress the story. So I think you get that one pops up there.
Oh,
But
could be, yeah. That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, it has been 5 years.
But if you want Knights of the Round, you have to get a chocobo anyway. So you have to race
Yeah.
it. So you'll end up doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. And then the 10k points for G-Bike, which isn't that a few points. It's you really need to play it well to get over 10k. Although I think my record there is 21 or 22k points.
Oh wow.
Because I once grinded for GP and I thought, well, G-Bike is the most fun to play, so and the most reliable. Then I just kept going for it and increased my high score. It was fun. Yeah, speaking of grinding, that one we talked about before, the 100 million gil. I wrote it wrong here in the doc. It's mil, not k. 100k gil would be easy. Very easy. And then also getting one character to level 99. I think it's a good choice. I personally wouldn't have minded to get having to get everyone to level 99, but still getting everyone, well, not Aerith, but all the other ones to level 99 would probably be too much of a grind and nonsensical. So at least one. But if in a normal playthrough, I think it was my first playthrough back then as a teenager, I ended up like a little bit over level 60 when I beat Sephiroth. So if you just go through it normally, you don't reach level 99.
No, it definitely requires some extra time on that one.
Yeah, for sure. That's also a good trophy to have, to also grind a little bit and also tell you, hey, there's a limit there and you can become this powerful and will help to beat the other optional bosses and stuff. And there's also a joke trophy which I find pretty funny. It's a party wipe. Like the first time you wipe, it's just trophy.
Yay.
I got that in the battle arena, actually, that one. That was like,
okay.
Yeah, because I didn't actually get a party wipe until a lot later. But when you go into the battle arena for the Keystone,
oh, I see.
He asks you to go in there. And at that particular point, you're probably not very well leveled to do it. So you end up just sort of wiping anyway. And it counts. So
true. Yeah, that's true.
So you may very well get it like through that anyway.
Yeah, or at the guard scorpion if you read the advice wrong.
Yeah, if you're anything like me when I was 13, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that it's called failure is an option.
Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty funny one.
Hey, it's 65.59% common, so lots of people got like team wiped.
But not all of them, so good on them.
Yeah, almost half.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine getting to the end? Yeah, could you imagine finishing the game and that's the only trophy you have left? It's like, you've never had a party wipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily you might need the weapon trophy as well. So you're like, okay, this is when I'm going to get team wiped.
Yeah.
And I'm going to beat
probably,
weapon at the same time.
Probably, yeah. I remember there's also a funny joke trophy for the Crash Bandicoot. How's it called? The remastered version or the remade version? The Insane trilogy.
I see
The
Insane
first
Trilogy.
one.
Yeah.
If you tornado one up away, instead of picking it up, you just kick it away when tornadoing. It also drops a trophy. I forget how it's called, but it's
is it
also
like
a
I
funny
meant
one.
to do that or something?
Yeah, I think I meant to do that. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
I have that trophy.
Yeah, me too, by accident.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So and the remakes trophies are, I think they're a little bit more. I want to say modern, but it's not really modern. But it's more in line with like AAA games nowadays. The original trophies were, as I said, more balanced. It had a little bit of everything, but not a lot for progress.
Yeah.
Like only 3 or 4 were auto gains throughout the story. The many others probably not, and about half of them definitely not, unless you go out of your way. But remakes trophies, it has for each chapter a trophy, and I think a few other ones, like Snappy Dresser, when you get all 3 dresses, which happens anyway, which you get in any case. So that's I think 20 or 25 trophies out of the way if you just finish the game, which is nice, of course, because it just the trophies pop while playing the game, and it gives you a dopamine rush. Oh, another trophy! I managed to do something good. I'm a great gamer now. But it's something I personally don't quite like, because it cheapens like 20-30% or even more of all the trophies in there, because I want to be proud of my trophy collection, and if half of them drop anyway if I finish a game, which I usually do, then it's not really an achievement. So
you get a gold trophy for finishing the original, but not on the remake. It's only a bronze.
I didn't check the gold and silver status. That's true.
It's a gold for the feat of meteoric proportions, which is the gold trophy for completing the original. But for the remake, it's just a bronze trophy. Well done, you completed chapter 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gold to complete all chapters on hard difficulty.
Yes. Hard
that's
mode.
Why.
Gold,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard mode gets the gold, but you had to do all 18. And then the other gold I believe is the Pride and Joy.
Yeah, Pride and Joy. Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
So yeah, that's like over 20 out of the way already. But then at least there are also some for completionists, like finish all quests, learn all abilities, all enemy skills, finish all battle intel reports, etc. So this is also pretty good, because if you do all of that, you have almost 100% of the game anyway. Not quite, but you have a lot done already. Then challenges which are not tied to story progression, or like you usually don't automatically gain them. You have to go out of your way. For example, in all the mini games, if you play Dart, you just have to play it once, then you can go on, or you can try to beat Wedge, and then the trophy pops. Or the I forget the trophy name which you mentioned earlier, Platt, for Jesse's kiss on the motorbike.
Oh, Biker Boy.
Yeah, Biker Boy, exactly. Yeah, it's not quite easy, especially when you're playing on normal. I got the trophy on easy, I think, because I just played through easy mode.
Me too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Not specifically because of that, but I want to just play through the game, record everything in German, and record everything without any text on screen for screenshots later, so I can just go through the footage and grab some screenies out of it. And I think that's where I also did it right away. I think, or maybe I just had to redo it once or something. But on easy, it barely take any damage, so it's not hard.
My biggest tip is just hold the block button.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, it helps a lot.
I did it the first time. I just wasn't blocking at all.
Yeah, same.
Once you kind of get the routine of Roche's pattern,
Yeah.
You can kind of make sure you can kind of dodge a lot of his attacks. But yeah, if you're blocking in easy mode, you don't take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And it's not as bad a trophy as what it kind of comes across in the sort of first sort of playthrough.
Yeah.
I barely finished that on hard.
Oh.
I was so tempted to skip.
You can skip them.
Yeah, that's good. So you can skip because it doesn't really contribute to anything else.
I did it for the boss battle at the end.
I did too. Yeah, I was like, I
on
don't
hard
need to
mode.
do
I
it.
did.
I'm skipping this.
Yeah, I looked it up. I googled it. I'm like, do you get anything for finishing this on hard mode?
I think it says like you don't get penalized for skipping. I think a message comes up.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, I almost beat him, but I tried it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this.
I don't remember if I tried in hard mode actually. I really don't. Maybe I just skipped because I wanted to beat Sephiroth or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was close to the end, so.
Yeah, I think it was late when I was doing chapter 18. I was like, it's late. I just want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me too.
Let's go.
That was me too.
Yeah.
But I also spent a lot of the time doing the VR or the battle sim as well. Like as soon as I got to that part, I stayed there and did all the hard ones right away.
Oh, okay, you did.
I didn't go finish the story and then go back and do the battle sim after. I did them all first.
I did.
And then I had my 2 Götterdämmerungs or 3 or whatever it is. And then I used those when I was fighting Sephiroth on hard mode.
I wanted that accessory for fighting Sephiroth. I remember now, yes, I did go back to get the hard mode run and Pride and Joy first and then did Sephiroth.
Yeah. I think I'm not quite sure if it's considered cheating, but before I started hard mode, I grinded in chapter 16 to get all my materia to max first, and then I went to chapter 17 to beat all on hard mode, of course, to beat everything and get Götterdämmerung, and then started the actual hard mode playthrough with Götterdämmerung in. Yes.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And then just abused triple slash with refocus.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty fun. But still a challenge for Hell House and the others. So.
Yeah. I beat Intermission on hard, and I did the hard mode battle sim. And you get to Götterdämmerungs, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to use these for though? Like I'm done playing now. Like what am I going to use it for?
That's also the reason why I did it first, because then I could actually use it.
Yeah, in the boss battle. Yeah. But I found actually hard for Intermission wasn't as difficult as what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Like the story, just the chapters, like I didn't find it that difficult.
No.
I found Nero quite difficult to get through on hard, but
I have to admit I haven't beaten Nero yet on hard, but only because I just got sick of seeing all the cutscenes again and again and again. I just couldn't do it anymore. Like after the third time, it was just
Yeah, it's because you're in a battle and you can't skip. It's a non-skippable cutscene.
Exactly.
Which is annoying. I hear you.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't want to do this. Don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. I felt that with the cutscenes because they're not skippable inside that battle.
Yes. It's really annoying.
Also, my Sephiroth battle, I kept dying, by the way, on hard, and then it would ask you to replay right before that because it's 3 phases or 4 phase battle, right? I accidentally pressed from the beginning of the battle. And then I had to restart from the beginning.
Whole Whispers
and I was so mad. But also, I had to leave and do other things, or I had to shut off my PS5 and whatever. So I just exited, I exited out of the game, and I thought it would autosave that point in the battle, but it didn't. And then I had to redo my materia slots again and do everything. And oh my God, it was a huge thing. I was so mad. I was like, I knew I could have put it just in rest mode, right? And then just booted it up and opened the game and it would have been fine, but I didn't. And I learned my lesson. I was so mad. But also the fact that it's split into different sections, you know what I mean? So you can't just skip those first 2 if you've already done them. You have to, even if you did already do those 2 phases, it doesn't remember that. You have to redo the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's good enough, because otherwise it would be too easy. Just redo the phase you died on. Because it's just one boss battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it made me go through everything again, like the
If
Whisper
you
battle,
say from the
everything.
beginning, yeah, then it's from the whole Whisper battle again.
That
Yeah.
was the whole, that was my
that's
thing.
true.
So I was at the
Yeah.
end, I was at Sephiroth, I was almost done, then I had to go do something else, but then I died and it said restart, I accidentally pressed restart at the beginning of this battle, which took me back to the whole Whispers battle.
Oh no.
And then I was pissed. I was like,
Oh.
okay, I'm turning this off and leaving and doing it like a few days later because I'm mad.
Yeah, you need to calm down and come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not really intuitive in that instance, because if you say from the start of the battle, did it say start of the battle last? I think start of the battle would have been Sephiroth, and then last checkpoint.
Yes. Yeah, you get before this battle, and it brings you to the beginning of the whole thing, and then it says last right before this last battle or something like that. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, something like that. But it needs to teleport it to before the battle, because then you have the opportunity to like redo everything and can run back. Well, not in Chapter 18, but yes, in Chapter 18 you can just buy materia and items again on the highway. That's what it's for, because you usually you want to just try again. But if you notice you're too underleveled or you need more items or what have you, then you can like jump to before the battle starts, and then you can just do other things to prepare.
I just hit the wrong thing by accident, and then
I think you weren't the only one. Others made that mistake as well.
I think I did that mistake a few times during that playthrough. You look at it and you're like, okay, which one do I want? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I want more information. What do you mean?
Yeah. Can you give me some more details as to where exactly I'm going to go if I confirm this section? It's like, are you sure? You're like, no, but let's go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Then there are a few more trophies for Remake, which just make you do a few things off the beaten path, like achieving 300% stagger, which you usually don't. But Fat Chocobo is a pretty good like punching bag for that.
Oh yeah, he is.
And unfortunately, motor, or I think it's called motor M.O.T.O.R, like the motor ball at the end of the highway.
Oh right.
You every time you destroy all wheels, you get staggered.
Right.
But at the end, the stagger just keeps going up, like 500-600, and this doesn't count. Fortunately, because it would be too easy.
I know, because I was getting that, and I was like, "Oh, we're getting the stagger up."
Yeah,
and the trophy didn't pop, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, it was too good to be true.
I didn't learn that mechanic about like the whole staggering thing, how to develop it, and how to go on until maybe 2/3 of the way through. I kind of figured out with Tifa that she was obviously increasing it. It took me a while for me to kind of figure out some of those mechanics, like to kind of really do that. And then I think I must have seen somebody like look up a bit of a guide and said to Chocobo was the best one to do it for.
Yes.
I was like, cool,
same
okay.
Speaking of Chocobo, Chocobo Moogle materia is also off the beaten path, something you maybe do, maybe you don't, because I think if you unlock everything, all the 3 sun lamps, you can just keep going on the big elevator or the platform. But there's also this small platform to the right, which brings you to this service room where for the fans.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're a completionist, you usually just explore everything. You notice, this one needs more lamps, and then go back to it when you're done. But some people might forget, or just want to be done with this stupid Chapter 6 because some thought it was too much filler and boring. So I think it's pretty cool, and you also get rewarded with a song by Barrett. Is this where we're going on an adventure, or something like that? This was so funny.
Yes, he does. He sings it on the way across, doesn't he? Yes.
Yeah. Like on an adventure to get some treasure or something. Yeah.
They sort of tease you with the materia, don't they?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Look at that in there, and you're like, oh, shiny, like. And Barrett's he's just like, don't worry about that, like just Come on, let's go.
I'm not quite sure if you can kind of make out the parts of the Chocobo theme from it because he sings so weird, but I don't know. I was just thinking about this because it would fit if you kind of dropped a few notes of the Chocobo theme.
Yes. Yes, I feel like they do that. I remember you saying, Vyzz, on your previous videos about it. Obviously, they link in the music when you get the discs and that to kind of things going on.
Yeah,
around what's happening and that, and it was
exactly. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the song that's playing because you get a disc when you get up
yeah,
there as well.
it plays Electric Chocobo. I think the Chocobo battle theme from the original just redone. I think that's the one you get there, which also ties to the material you get.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the song was that you get. I know you get a disc when you get up there, but you have that small sort of fight section, and then you kind of be able to go through.
Or you have to fight it fast enough to open the door. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a minute or 2 minutes you have to do it in.
I think so, or a minute and a half, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something around then.
Yeah, and if you don't have a good setup, or you just don't quite know how to handle a queen grass strike, then it just takes too long. I think I failed the first time. Then I went in. Okay, now I'm ready. And then you just fight 3 normal grass strikes, and was like, come on, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, I think that took me a second go. Just kind of obviously you kind of go in there knowing what's in there. So once you kind of know what you're facing, you can get the strategy right.
Yeah, but then the strategy is gone because you fight something else.
Oh, was it? Oh, I think I had the same fight.
You did?
Maybe it was 3 smaller ones, but I think I think I had the same fight. Maybe it's slightly randomized. I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. I just noticed that when I first got in, it had 2 sentry rays up top and grass strike queen up down.
That's what I had. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I failed. That took too long a little bit, and then I tried again. And then only 3 normal grass strikes appeared, nothing else. And there was just, oh, come on, I just wanted to try again.
Just gave it to you, didn't it?
Yeah. Game said, no, you're not good enough. Yeah. And then in the next chapter also, the remade button minigame, which I liked, because the original was just like, come on, I just have to guess when the others start pressing. Interestingly, a fun fact, when I in preparation for playing Remake, I played the day before. I played the original just until escaping Midgar, just to have everything fresh in my mind. And there I did it first time. Like I went in, waited like I think 2 seconds or something, pressed, and at the same time the others raised their hands as well, like perfectly in sync. And thanks to the automatic recording of the PS4 back then, and I just went back, extracted the clip, uploaded it somewhere, and showed the others, hey, look, I did it first try. The other was, no way, this isn't you. I was so surprised myself because every playthrough in the past, I tried 5-6 times or something because I was always off. Because it's so hard to guess when they raise their hands. Yeah. So the remade version was pretty well done, also with the banter between them when you fail.
It's so much fun just not doing it correctly though. Just so you can get
exactly.
You're like, I'm doing it bad on purpose just so I get the dialogue.
Yeah, that's
and like Barrett's just like, and 1, 2, 3, go, and 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah. I was just warming up anyway. Yeah. You call yourself a soldier?
I know.
It's so fun. And Tifa was just keeping her cool.
I didn't do too badly on my PS5 playthrough, my Integrate one. I think I failed once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember just like going, when am I supposed to do it? Like, you're trying to press the buttons at the same time. Yeah, I remember the PS4 playthrough, it was quite frustrating at first.
Yeah, that was me. They improved it because I also did it on the first try of Integrate. So
okay,
but PS4 it didn't do it like barely at all.
That was pretty good on PS4 as well. Yeah, maybe they messed up the timing a little bit, like input. There was an input lag or something.
Oh, maybe because of the frame, maybe.
Maybe did you guys play on with 60 FPS the
I did.
performance mode? Okay, that's it, because then the input is much more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's also much better for fighting games for inputting combos and stuff. Because fighting games
good.
below 60 FPS, I heard, is usually
Mhm.
just not a good thing to do. Yeah. But yeah, that's just for opening a door. But on the other side, there's the Delta security for the other door, where you can collect everything you threw away from Airbuster.
Right.
And I think you have to go through 3 locks instead of just 1 or 4. 3 or 4 locks. And you get a trophy for that as well if you open the door, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know when you do the Delta lock first try, no error at all, that you get a different dialogue?
Ooh.
Like, there's a special dialogue if when you do everything correctly, then Tifa says, or like something like, "Can you read my thoughts?" It's also almost like you could read my thoughts, and
Oh.
or can soldiers do that? And Cloud says, "Not, no, they can't yet," or something like that. It's just something about reading somebody's mind and stuff, which ties in with this whole Genova and memory copying thing, and it's find it pretty cool.
Oh, that's really awesome. I have to try and
Yeah.
maybe look that up on YouTube, because I don't know if I can have
Oh, yeah,
the time and patience to
no.
do it first time.
Yeah. The guy who records most of the footage for my videos, because I just don't have the time to record everything again and again, 4K and 60 FPS and what have you. He also recorded this for me. He went through the torture to get everything perfectly.
Wow.
In German, Japanese, and English, so that I could compare and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure you find it on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And if not, I can just you can ask me and I can show you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and also as mentioned earlier, all the 9 dresses. I think this is kind of a little bit of a pain, because you have to do chapter 9 so many times, over and over again, including Hell House. But it's still it's great, because especially for Cloud and Aerith, for Cloud you have the 2 different routes, one for Madame M's dress and one for Chocobo Sam's dress, and for Aerith you have 3 different scenes, and all of them are great in their own right. So just for that, I think it's worth going through everything.
I think it's worth getting the dresses.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
to see them. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's such an iconic part of the game.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah.
To do something related to that, to make it more of a sort of a feature.
Yes.
Of the game. I think it was nice that they kind of said no to get the platinum. Like, if you really want to see everything, you should want to see all the dresses.
Yeah, exactly. Tifa's dresses didn't change anything in terms of scenes or content, but her dresses were so extremely diverse. Like one Wutai inspired, like a shorter kimono, and the other one inspired by Chun-Li. If you have you seen the recolor of her the leopard dress, where she basically looks like Chun-Li. Her dress looks blue, and yeah, it's very funny. I think it's.
Is this on one of the mods?
The mod recolor, exactly. Yeah, from her second. For me, it's the second one. The first is the basic one from the original.
Yeah.
The second one is Chun-Li, and for me, the exotic is my personal favorite, so this is the best. But I think for Tifa, there's no best and worst, in my opinion, because all have their own appeal.
Yeah.
But for Aerith, it's pretty. Aerith is just, of course, the one is just a cheap knockoff you can get for $10 in some random retail store. And the other one is pretty, but nothing too fancy. And the third one, the one that was shown off in the trailers, is just gorgeous. Also, her hair is very different there. It's great. And for Cloud, he has different quest lines. One with the Angel of the Slums, the other one, which is pretty similar to the original chain of events, where he had to get all the components for the dress. I thought this callback was very nice, and with Johnny, no less. I loved how they integrated Johnny much more. It's so good. I hope we'll see him again.
I like the trophy associated with him. I thought that
Mhm.
was
Yeah,
I thought that was really, really great. Like to actually seek out Johnny and
yeah,
to get his story. I thought that was a very
yeah,
lovely like callback to the original and a character that you don't really get too much of. But I love the fact that they kind of make something of him.
yeah, definitely. But, other characters also got so much more screen time. Even the Shinra middle manager, which was just like some random NPC who got beat up by Barrett on the train.
Mm.
But now he's a very high profile NPC. You see him everywhere. Even in intermission, you play Fort
You
Connor
play him,
against
don't
him.
you? Yeah.
So it's really good.
It's a, you know, that's the great thing about it. They've had the time to really kind of flesh out make the world feel lived in and have it full of characters.
Yes.
You know, and plus obviously new characters like, you know, sort of Marl and you know, Wormer, you
Roche.
know, Roche.
Roche, yeah.
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 You know, it really makes the world feel full because you've got all these other
Yes.
characters, these side characters that are just there. And Johnny was just such a presence through the story. And he added really, I think, nice comic relief as well. He kind of added some contrast, like to what was going on. You're kind of trying to, you know, figure out a way to save Aerith, but here he is, lost his wallet. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's like, you gotta help me, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
And on the way, you also get entangled with Kyrie.
yeah, she's great. She's funny.
So you get her side of the story also. I hated her actually, but I think she's still a good addition, and also her connection to the Angel of the Slums is very good.
Yeah, good reveal.
Yeah, definitely. But a one that you could have seen coming. I was pretty sure from the start, but I wasn't 100%. But I was pretty sure during the quest with the reporter. She's not quite what she seems.
I think I would have seen it coming more if I did the Madam M storyline quests first.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
because I would have done the
fair.
Chocobo Sam one first, and because when you do those, you kind of get the hint, like, you know, like the, you know, she kind of walks off, and you're, oh yeah, that's you then, right? It's
Yeah.
very, very clear that it's you.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
I think the remake steers you towards Chocobo Sam's choices first. You
Yeah.
have to be more specific with Madam M's to get that storyline.
I think so too. Also, if you take the what is it, a steroid drink or whatever that is, next to Johnny, where you see him beat up before you enter the Coliseum.
I read
Like
about
the
this.
first fight.
I've not seen this drink.
It's just on the table next to
Yeah.
him when you see him beat up, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
just adds one more point to Chocobo Sam, so he is a little bit in the advantage there.
Yeah, that's right. You have to leave it alone. I read about it and I was like, drink? Where's this? I don't remember seeing it.
I missed it the first time as well, to be frank. Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
All I do is focus on the dialogue choices, like with Madam M.
Yeah, it's you have to be less Tifa focused, let's say. You have to be like a little bit more respect her as a person and not as a good-looking woman. That's basically the difference between Madame M and Chocobo Sam. That's what I garnered at least. Yeah, even when the inn owner chats you up, and if you say how much is a night there, there's 1 point for Chocobo Sam and I think a minus. Are there minus points? I don't remember. That's at least 1 for Chocobo Sam, and if you say no thanks, then I think it's 1 for Madame M.
Yeah, that's it. You have to turn down like his offer, don't you, for the toy costs? And Hero's like, I'll do it. Like,
yeah,
I'll play. Yeah.
Yeah, coin as well. Yeah, exactly. You have to say not interested or something like that. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like for the differences as well. Just obviously you've done a great job, obviously with the stuff on there. Just wanted to just on a sort of like a basic level, looking at actual lists, like the platinum for the OG is actually quite short in comparison. Like
it is, yeah.
The remake with the 2 playthroughs, it's, you know, if you're doing an initial playthrough and then a hard mode, you're probably going to be looking at 60 to 80 hours of of playing time on there, definitely. I mean, even if you did an initial run on the OG, you didn't get perhaps maybe the best bromance or some of the missables that you kind of went through. You could still get a lot of the end game stuff, and you could still go and do a playthrough up until
Gold Saucer,
to the Gold Saucer bit where you get the date scene and just clean up some of the missables that you actually get. A lot of it is quite good that way that you can do it. So I think from a standpoint there's obviously there's a lot less trophies on the original. You've got a lot bigger list. Like I say, very modern game when it comes to the remake. I do think when I've been doing the remake through this sort of second time around now on PS5, I've been doing the lists very much in order. So every time I've come up to any chapter specifics, they are in that order as you get to them. So things like the Biker Boy, that is in with alongside chapter 4 completion and all that sort of thing. Things like collecting some of the music discs, they come in a very kind of like stagnant order down the list. If you did want to do them, it tells you where they are in the chapters that you're going to see them. Obviously, when you play through them, you'll see them. But if you look at the list, it will tell you, there's a specific thing here in this chapter I'm about to play that is going to be a chapter related like activity that I need to do if I want to get it, or I just come back to it later. But it does kind of give you a bit of an inkling as to what's sort of coming up that you've got like in the list. And like I say, with the OG, there's a few sort of points in there. But again, like it's not like it's a muddled list, but my trophies were very all over the place when you kind of get them. There's not like a massive, you have to be very careful when you try and get them. There's a lot of missables. There's lots of things to kind of get. And if you're not too sure, because again, with the original, it doesn't necessarily help you to find things, if that makes sense. You kind of have to know that they're there.
That's true,
yeah. Whereas in the remake, it's like, here's a door. Do you want to go and try and open it? Maybe there's some stuff behind it. And you're like, sure. Then you do it, ping, trophy. And, you know, it almost guides you to those trophies a little bit.
It nudges you towards certain points. That's true, yeah.
Yeah, if that sort of makes sense. It sort of almost holds your hand a little bit more. Whereas, the OG, you kind of have to have a little bit more knowledge about it. Like, you know, Knights of the Round. Like, how do I get Knights of the Round? Doesn't tell you. There's nothing in the game that says you're going to get this Knights of the Round materia if you do this. You kind of have to just, I don't know, look it up. Like,
yeah. Or just figure out how to breed a gold chocobo and then just traverse the world and hope you
stumble across an island, with
an island just in the northwest corner of the map, and there's nothing on the map and nothing. And why would you even run there? It's just so weird. Yeah,
I think you really need a guide. If you don't know the game, if you have never played Final Fantasy before, I think you'd have a better chance getting a platinum on Remake than you would do like on the original. But on the plus side, you get multiple gold trophies on the original because you get them for defeating the weapons as well.
Yes.
So you even get one for defeating Diamond, which is a story battle. So you even get a gold trophy for actually hitting that.
That's a weird one.
I know, but you get one. Yeah. You don't get one for Ultima Weapon though, which I think is quite sad. I think Ultima Weapon deserves a gold trophy.
Maybe they meant to use Ultima Weapon as the gold trophy.
Maybe.
But then for some reason just switch it up. I don't know.
It's just on there. You defeat Diamond and then ping up it pops and you get a gold. And the same with the others as well. For Emerald and Ruby, you get gold trophies like for them.
Yeah. But Diamond Weapon you can beat with level 7 Tifa if you want. I saw a video of it. Yeah, it is possible.
My goodness.
But the other two are dead. She's alone, and then you have to use a lot of items for the level 3 spells.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And have her in sadness mode, I think, for the additional defense. And yeah, there's a lot you have to consider and do. But it is possible apparently.
I mean, the fight's not exactly particularly difficult, particularly at the stage of the game. I mean, it's a tough challenge. Like the things are, it's a beast. Like it's it's a giant weapon. But it's not too bad. But you do get a gold trophy for it.
Yeah, it doesn't deal as much damage as I thought the first time. I thought, well, it attacks, but it doesn't do that much damage. It's not as dangerous as the others. It's a huge thing.
I know, yeah. And obviously with the I like the limit break trophies like in the original. I think they're a really lovely like addition, and like, you know, Aerith's is a little bit, but again, it doesn't tell you how to upgrade specifically how to do it. You kind of have to just know how to do it, because when I was a kid, I just thought you use the limit break, it gets better, which is true to a degree. But to go up to level 2 to level 3 or whatever, you have to just kill enemies, and I didn't understand that concept. So it made it a lot easier to grind out the limit levels for her specifically, because you have to do it before you enter Temple of the Ancients.
Yes, exactly.
All right, everyone. So now we're moving on. We are talking about Final Fantasy VII OG trophies that could have been included. So Platinum, did you want to share your ideas for that?
Only really just sort of, I think for me, just for like the OG, just some more story related trophies. I know what you're saying about the chapters like in the remake, but I would have liked maybe a few more sort of like story related points just through the game. Just you kind of get maybe end of disc 1, you get a trophy, that sort of thing. Just maybe something a little bit more to kind of go through. There could definitely be maybe some more mini game stuff just to kind of help with that a little bit more. So some of like the mini games, just maybe something more with the chocobo racing, just related to that. Just maybe something else in terms of like mini games and just other things to try and do. I was actually trying to think about some of the stuff. I don't know if you've got like the battle arena as well. Maybe it's like just some things that you could just go off and just do some mini game stuff. I think that might just be a little bit more fun. They did it with the G bike, but I think they could have possibly like got something else in there as well. Probably a more annoying one, but something for me personally I would have liked to have done would have been the enemy skills, because we got it in the remake, albeit there's only 4. But for me, like, I've never really been able to kind of like get my head around the enemy skills and where they are. I would have liked to have been able to have learnt those and to see how to get them all. Like, I think that would have been an interesting experience. It would have been like a grind to think about, but if you had a list to know where they are and when to get them, it might not be too bad. But I think for me, like, that forces me to learn something new that I didn't already know. So I think that's just a personal one, like, for me. And I think maybe just like, I don't know, like just defeating just some other legendary monsters, just like Marlboros or just some other cool things that you could just go off and hunt. Like maybe there might be a list of a trophy that just kind of goes through, defeat, you know, these specific enemies once in your playthrough, and then you get like, you know, maybe a trophy. That's for me. I think there's just some fun things in there just to kind of add a little bit more to it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I put get a trophy for breeding all chocobos, like having one of each
good.
chocobo.
Yeah.
Because I really did that. Like I really wanted to do that, so I had one of everyone, every different kind in the OG. So I would have liked to get some credit for that. You know what I mean? I said Mr. Dolphin. Just being able to do that properly, I guess. Maybe like you do it in one shot, then you get a trophy for it. I don't know, something like a joke one. You know what I mean? Yeah. I said slapping minigame.
Oh,
don't get hit once.
Scarlet one.
Yeah, Tifa slapping Scarlet. That would be great. And then I was thinking, how are they going to do that in Remake? Imagine they have like an EDM like remix of like a song like the Chin Up Bar one, but it's just Scarlet's face and Tifa's hands, and you're like, ah, 100 points.
And more,
you know what I mean?
blue stains on her eyes or cheeks. The more you hit her.
Oh my god! I'm like, then I thought, like, how are they gonna do that in the remake? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I feel like they can't do that in modern games now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they can, but
I think they can. That's and in a way that it's pretty funny as well.
Yeah, they'll change it, but I mean, I hope they do, because that's amazing, and they should keep it. But we'll see. But yeah,
another fun one. Sorry, was the I was just thinking about like just encountering all the Turk, because you can miss some of them.
Oh right, yeah.
I think if you did all the Turk sort of side sort of missions and fights, that would have been a cool trophy to get, like to go and encounter all of those, because there's some fun scenes there.
I think 2 were optional, the one in Gongaga and one in the Galnica, Sunken Galnica. in Wutai there was no confrontation.
No, but that could be part of it, I suppose. It's just the story, isn't it? It's the
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, they could include the one in the tunnels during Midgar raid, because if you've done the Wutai side quest, you can opt to not fight. But if you want the trophy, you have to fight.
yeah.
Like you have to fight all that are there. The first Reno fight, the Solar Route fight on the rocket, and the other three I mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, I said perfect marching.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought about that, but that's just mean.
Well, at least a certain score above a certain score. It's a good mini game, though.
Yeah.
You know, obtaining the Force Stealer, isn't it? Like, is the end part, isn't it?
That's a send off. Yeah, that's the second
that's the
one.
send off bit at the end. You still have to get a certain score, don't you, to get it?
Yeah, I think
that would have been a cool
or 120
trophy.
or something.
Yeah. I was so bad at that.
That's also a trophy I would suggest, that during the send off you have to get at least 100 points to make Rufus happy or something like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Because that's not as hard, not as frustrating, and it's also a one-off. It's not something you can just repeat. You have to play the game again or just reload.
Yeah.
So it should be attainable. But still something for you to force it to play well.
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned mini games. I'm kind of sad that the snowboarding mini game didn't get one.
Oh yeah, even the Gold Saucer version would have been nice.
Yeah, exactly. And also the submarine one, but that's kind of the bane of many players' existence, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, I personally would have tried to integrate a trophy for all the minigames, especially the Mog one. Get Mog to fly. That should have been a trophy, please. Yeah, and more summons like Typhon for mastering the ancient forest.
Yeah,
this is also a missed opportunity. Maybe obtain Alexander, but that's a little bit of a weird one. But still could have been a trophy, because it's also a little bit out of going out of your way.
Exactly.
There's one for Master Summon Materia, but why not Master Magic Command and Support?
Yeah.
That's also weird. Why not? Because then you have to finish all huge materia sub-quests perfectly to receive those. Because if you fail in the Corel's mission or in the at the Fort Connor mission, you don't get the huge materia. And that's what you need for the Master Magic and stuff. Of course, Master Summon Magic and Command you can also get by beating Emerald Weapon and returning the I don't remember the item, but the item you get, return to the Calm Traveler, and then you get the 3 Master Materia, not the support for some reason.
You do. I think you get all 3, don't you?
Oh yeah, you got all 3. That's my bad. Because there is a blue huge materia, but that one gives you Bahamut 0, I think, but not a master support material. This doesn't exist and doesn't make sense.
No, it's the command, isn't it?
It's brain failure. It's just commands. Yeah, the blue one doesn't get the master material. It would make sense anyway, because what would you link it to? To everything. Link it to counter all elemental everything at the same time.
That would be an amazing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And yeah, as was said before, no ultimate weapon trophy. That's also missed opportunity. I also thought about winning Fort Condor without the enemy reaching the top. Just once. Doesn't matter which one, just win it without the enemy reaching the top, and you have to step in and beat the Commander Grandhorn. So maybe some people would have said no way, but
well, thank God they didn't, because I would hate you, because it took me so long to beat that. For some reason, it was not easy. Some people found it really easy.
Yeah, I think on my most recent playthrough, I kind of got the mechanics of it, and I beat it right down the bottom.
Yeah,
it didn't even get a few steps up, and I got it beat.
Yeah, you just have to have a little bit of skill and just plaster everything with all of your with the catapults and stuff, and then make sure you add units that are strong against those enemies that appear there.
That's it. Yeah, it's a rock paper scissors because it was
Yeah,
it was
almost.
it was the recent Fort Condor game that got me used to that mechanics. Before I wasn't getting it, but yeah, when I
Yeah.
went back to it very recently, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get this now. This is weak against this, is strong against this, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah,
helps a lot.
it does. Yeah.
And why not buy Costa del Sol Villa for 300k? That's also something that lends itself beautifully for a trophy. It's
Yeah, it
something
does. Yeah.
you don't have to do, but you can do, and it's just not really bragging rights, but just something you can say, hey, I bought the villa. Here's proof. Yeah, then Moogle minigame, I also said. Also, learning all enemy skills. That would have been a great one, but also extremely hard one, because there's one you can miss.
Yeah.
Especially because of that one.
Very annoying.
Yeah, it's... In theory, it would have been a great trophy, but in practice, because of the way enemy skill works, and some you need to manipulate enemies, and some like the Semselet doesn't use a white wind, so you don't know that you can learn it before you actually manipulate it and see white wind. Oh, what's this? So it's a weird mechanic that there are so many hidden things, like also big guard from the beach plug. Beach plug, I think, doesn't use it on itself. Usually, you just basically have to just use manipulate on all enemies and hope you find something.
Yeah,
and this is weird. It's a weird mechanic. That's that, and because of the bug, which only makes the Dragon Zombie use Pandora's box just once per game, and if you don't have it equipped, you're screwed basically. Because of those two things, I'd probably say, nah, it's good that they didn't include it. But maybe just learn an enemy skill, one, or learn a specific enemy skill, maybe beta or something, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it might be something cool to have on there, yeah.
I think it's also a missed opportunity. Also, I wrote down Gold Chocobo. Theoretically, it's also already within the trophy for Knights of the Round, because you need a Gold Chocobo for that. But on the other hand, just breeding a Gold Chocobo is an achievement in and of itself, so no trophy for that is kind of a bummer.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Final Fantasy VII Remake trophies, that could have been included. So Vyzz, did you want to start us off?
Yeah, for sure. Not as many, because they already had a lot. But seeing all resolution scenes, I think, would have also been a good way to make people watch all those, because some of them are really important, especially Aerith's resolution scene. But also Barrett's resolution scene is good for world building in terms of Avalanche, and Tifa's is good for both Cloud and Tifa and their past. So I think this is a missed opportunity to make the people aware that there are more, because some people might not realize that it's tied to an internal affection system. That they just play it casually. They just think, oh, okay, it's just Tifa that's that had trouble sleeping, and then you get her a scene and it's good. But then you learn, maybe in the future, because somebody tells you, hey, have you seen Aerith's resolution scene? What, Aerith? No, I got Tifa. Ah, okay. Which would have probably worked better in the past when we were like exchanging information on a schoolyard or at work or something. Nowadays, it gets spoiled anyway on the internet. But yeah, I think it doesn't really matter. I don't think you get a trophy for the VR summon challenges, right? Just for the pride and joy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Wait, oh no, the summons are in the same.
Hey, you talk about Chadley's list with this VR summons, right? Will you get a
No,
trophy?
yeah,
for...
right. Yeah, now you're correcting me on what I actually meant, because yeah, that's what I meant. That's true. It's getting late. It's almost midnight here. My brain's melting. Sorry, guys. Thank you for that. Now, that's true, yeah, like defeating Shiva, Fat Chocobo, what else is there? Leviathan and Bahamut.
Yes.
Yeah.
4 trophies for free. But didn't they already reach the 50 trophy limit? I don't I don't quite remember how many there are, but there are a lot of trophies, so they could have already reached the 50.
Oh, the game's already got like 60 trophies, I think. Like it's quite a.
Is it 60? I don't know.
It says 54.
Is it 54? Okay.
Is it 50? Oh, okay. I thought there was a limit like 50, or was just 50 like a norm? Or maybe it's not a limit anymore. I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot of trophies. So including 4 more would probably have been overkill.
I think it's 60 with intermissions trophies. Actually, I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you get the whole list up there, I think it's around 60 for intermission and the remake.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, true. Yeah, but beating all of them would have been cool. Like there are 4 VR missions, individual ones from Chadley, and beating all of them could have been another one. Just to like not force you, but to incentivize you to beat them and get them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also, everybody secondary limit breaks. Because why not? It's yeah, another missed opportunity for completionists.
Yeah,
like to get another trophy for going through I think that there were solo challenges, right?
Yeah, it's a solo challenge at the
Corneo
Coliseum. Yeah, it's Corneo Coliseum. Yeah. It's a quite tight window for Aerith because you can really miss it.
Yeah, definitely. It's really tight because I missed it the first time around.
I missed it the first time because I was like, how'd you get Aerith? And then I was like, oh yeah, there's that one time when she's like there that you can do some missions where it's like, hey, if you want to have a fight, come back again. It's like, cool, yeah, I'll go and come back. Oh yeah, but Aerith's not there when you come back. Like,
yeah, it's a tight window, just like in the original where you have to get hers before a certain point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many parallels. Also, why not defeating Airbuster without removing any parts?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's also a missed opportunity.
Do you have to do one as a story and then you kind of find the rest? Because I don't know if you can't move on until you've
The first one you have to, but the first one is just an M unit, and the M unit doesn't affect his performance. Just the Big Bomber and the AI cores, but those you don't have to remove. So if you keep the other key cards, then he's at full power. And beating him that way would warrant a trophy.
That would be cool, yeah.
Especially
on hard mode too.
Yeah. Was about to say probably on hard modes as well, yeah.
Even with the stuff removed on hard mode, he was still very hard.
Although I beat him first time on hard mode, but in normal mode I died first time. But it was also pretty late when I played, so my brain wasn't really tagging along. And maybe assess most enemies, maybe 90% or something, to give you a little bit of leeway, or maybe even all, but that's all would also mean those weird replicas, fat chocobo summons, because some of them, like Cactuar, Tomberry, and Bomb, were also a part of it. So maybe, I don't know. This is a hard one to actually say, is it sensible or is it just too much?
Yeah.
But I think the Chadley's battle intel reports are enough.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Adding enemy intel is just, more. And as you said before, you didn't use the SS material on intermission because it just takes up a material slot, a valuable material slot. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's good that they did it.
No, I think they got a good balance with the trophies on the remake. I think there's enough variety there, like to kind of get you to get through it.
Yeah.
I was like you, Vyzz. I was just looking at thinking oh yeah, maybe the resolutions would have been a nice trophy to kind of force that. They're long playthroughs to make all the choices correctly to get the other characters. So it's that's a long way to kind of get through to get it. But yeah, I mean I've played the game multiple times. Yeah. I would have. I think I've not seen Barrett's myself. I think I've got Tifa's and Aerith's.
Yeah.
I've not seen Barrett's.
Thanks to chapter select, it's pretty easy to get those because it's for Tifa. You just need to make sure you did more quests with Tifa than Aerith, or the same amount, and then just choose in chapter 10.
Ah,
And if you
okay.
already did all the quests for both, they're both at 12 points because 6 each. Yep. And then in at the start of chapter 10, you can just choose Tifa, play through the chapter, and then just go to chapter 14.
Okay. You don't have to play it through. You don't have to keep playing all the way through to get. You
just finish the chapter.
You can just finish the chapter, skip it over to chapter 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because when you finish a chapter, it changes your playthrough state to what you did in that chapter.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and if you want to get Barrett, play through chapter 3 without doing any side quests, like just skip through everything. Same for chapter 8, which is a little bit longer, unfortunately. But then skip right to chapter 14 and get Barrett's scene.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll have to try and check that out because I'm going to do some offline stuff before I do my hard mode run.
I see.
So I might try and do that on the run there, particularly if I've got to get some dresses because I'm going to save myself because I want to stream my hard mode, probably stupidly.
Yeah.
And I want to do some prep so when I actually get through the hard mode, I've got the 3 dresses lined up I need to get.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I can then polish off that trophy like on stream. So that's the plan. So I might try and do a little bit of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I had really was just looking at the resolutions. But I think like you, like some nice ones there. Definitely Limit Breaks, I think is a good one. I think that's a nice one to kind of just throw in there just to kind of incentivize you to get all 4.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't have anything to add. I think that they did a good job of balancing the trophies for Remake. Absolutely. I think there's a good number. Just the dress one for me is just, it's aggravating because I have to replay chapter 9 so many different times. But you know what? Whatever. I'll take a break. I'll go back to it. I'll do it eventually.
I did the same.
That's just, it's making me have to go back to it again. So there you go. All right, everyone. Well, that concludes this episode of the Reunion of Final Fantasy VII Remake podcast. I just want to take a second to say a huge thank you to This Dad's Platinum Journey for joining us for today's episode. It was so awesome having you here to chat all about, your history and experience with Final Fantasy specifically, and to talk about trophies and how they affect or impact your interest in playing video games, and to kind of dive a little bit more into trophy specifics for the games and also how they impacted our playthroughs, Vyzz and I. So it was super awesome having you here today.
I concur, definitely.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. It was a blast to. It's always a great time to listen to the stories of others, how they came to Final Fantasy VII, how they came to gaming or learned how to appreciate trophies and all those stories. I love hearing them.
Me too.
Absolutely.
This is such a special game series for me, and you guys have been a big part of that as well because you guys, along with other podcasts and other series, I was listening to so much information about this game. And, me personally as a fan, coming onto a show like this is a bit of a dream come true for me. So yeah, I want to take a moment to say this is great for me, and I want to say my appreciation of allowing me to come onto the show and just sprouting out about my love for Final Fantasy because this is a big passion of mine. This is something that I'm in for life now. Final Fantasy VII is such a huge part. This was amazing, guys. Thanks very much for having me.
Of course.
You're very welcome.
All right, everyone. So if you have any ideas for up-and-coming episodes, you can email us. It's thereunionpodcast@gmail.com, thereunionpodcast@gmail.com. And we do have a Discord server. The link for our Discord server is listed in the description of every episode, so all you have to do is click on that link, and you'll be added to our Discord server. We do have a Twitter account. It's @reunion_podcast. Our Facebook is Reunion Podcast, and our YouTube channel is The Reunion Podcast. So don't forget to like, sub, and share. Also write a review if you feel so inclined, if you like what you hear, because it helps us the most and it's the best way to support us here. Vyzz, did you want to go ahead and drop your socials for Cosmo Canyon Observatory?
Sure. Main platform is, of course, Cosmo Canyon Observatory on YouTube. And we have a Twitter page, at cc_observatory, where we post latest videos, mostly also findings I find throughout the games, called CCO Gems. So hashtag CCO Gems is a good feed for all the little details I found, from NPC dialogue to hidden details or comparisons to the original game, what have you. It's almost a gold mine, I'd say so myself. But if you want to chat to me or the other fantastic scholars of the live stream, just join our Discord server. It's also a Cosmo Canyon Observatory. The link is in every description of every video or on the YouTube page itself. In the banner, there's the Twitter and the Discord link, so you can't miss it.
And Platinum, did you want to go ahead and drop your socials for where our listeners can check you out?
Yeah, sure. You guys can check me out over on Twitter. I'm really awesome over there. I love to support other gamers and Platinum Trophy hunters, parents. I really like to be a nice area of support around there and really kind of give people a nice bit of encouragement when it comes to their gaming, and particularly like getting themselves like through to trophies. It's at This Platinum, so you can go follow me over there. Also, my YouTube channel is basically This Dad's Platinum Journey. You can go and find my Platinum playlist, which is a really awesome way to kind of delve into the games that I'm playing. Gives you a real sense of how to tackle Platinums and how you can kind of get yourself through some of your favourite games. I stream live every Friday at 7:30, so you can come and catch me on there and come and chat to me, obviously like live on air, and you can kind of get a sense of what I am and what I do, and you can just talk games to me. I don't mind. But yeah, come and check me out and give us a like and share and follow and all that jazz.
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on today's episode. Vyzz and I really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to hopefully having you back in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be doing Remake. So Remake, like I say, is planned for number 50. I want to stream it on hard mode. That may be a mistake. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I say, come down and join me. I've got some stuff on Final Fantasy VII. I've got a ton of content planned out for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I do want to do a big deep dive into the trophies on that and do a massive sort of like some walkthroughs and some guides and a journey for that. That's going to be an end of year project. There's going to be something very, very special that I'm looking forward to greatly.
Sounds awesome.
Absolutely.
And when part 2 drops, we'll have you on again to talk about part 2 trophies.
Oh, please do. I will be all over. Once we get word of the trophies, they tend to come out about a week or so before the game actually drops. So the trophies do come out. So obviously we can avoid story spoilers, but it gives you an idea of some of the stuff that's going on there. But yeah, definitely. We'll get the game coming out. FF16 may even be first as well. So I'm not going to stream it because I want to just relax and enjoy and play that. But I will be very much hunting down FF16 trophies as well.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, this is Kai. I'm signing off. All the best to you guys.
Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.